Day for higher education institutions together with the VET providers. Employability of students and graduates, as well as connection of higher education to the labor market, is one of the PBC, the Planning Budgeting Committee, main focuses going forward, and we are eager to learn and to be inspired from the insights and outputs of ongoing and future Erasmus Plus projects in the field. Over the years, the Erasmus Plus program has contributed to the quality of higher education institutions in Israel, as well as promoted and piloted several initiatives that were later adopted by the PBC on a national scale. For example, the national reform to implement the CFR model in English studies, and the first models that structures the international offices in higher education institutions in Israel. I'm happy to say that despite all our hardships, Israel continues to be the leading country in the ICM program, with thousands of students and staff traveling annually from the EU to Israel and vice versa. The international offices are at the forefront of representing Israel and Israeli academia in Europe and the world. I want to encourage and commend you for the important work you do, not only for your individual institutions, but also for the entire higher education system in Israel and Israel's standing in the world. Your innovative thinking and individual contribution have led to many significant and successful projects, as well as further collaboration and initiatives in other fields. I also want to thank our dear colleagues from the ETF and BAFOR for being with us here today, and can only hope that from this day, more collaborations between Israel and the EU will develop. I wish you all a productive and insightful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Yossi. Thank you, Professor Makori. Sorry for being so informal. That's how we are in Israel sometimes. Thank you very much for the kind words, and I hope you have a very productive day. Thank you for joining us. So now I'll start with the first presentation, which is general updates on Erasmus Plus. So let me just 1 second every time, and we have these short delays. And okay, I'll share my screen now. Okay, great. So you can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. So hi, everyone. Welcome those who joined a bit late. Welcome to our info day. I hope you have a very productive day. Now I'll have a short slide. I'll present a short slide about the general updates on from the program guide on the Erasmus Plus program in general, and then we'll drill down to more specific calls. So first of all, I want to send our deepest condolences to all of our colleagues, and I don't think there's a single person that hasn't been somehow hasn't experienced some loss due to the very hard times that we're going through ever since October 7th. So we're not forgetting and we're not disregarding, and of course, if there is anything that we as a community can do to help you, then of course feel very comfortable in approaching us, and also help you if this has impacted your projects in some way. There is a force majeure clause that I've presented to most of you that stipulates that there are circumstances in which you won't have to have any measures taken, even though you're not standing within the project deadlines, and haven't fully implemented it due to force majeure. So if any of you have difficulties in implementation of your project, please contact us, your project officers, and we can try to assist you in getting everything that you rightfully deserve. I also want to congratulate the new projects that have been selected, and say that we're very proud your very, very, very independent, innovative thinking and approaches to all of the projects and all of the calls. And I really want to encourage you to stay open-minded and think about ways that Israel can collaborate with the EU through the Erasmus Plus programs. The fact that we see so many grants awarded, not only in capacity building, is something that to be proud of. And this does not include your ICM mobilities, and this does not include the cooperation partnerships that I'm sure that you've taken part in. This is data that we'll get later because it's more extensive and it's not really concentrated in one place. So a little bit about the Erasmus activities that are open in Israel. I just want to say one more time in Hebrew, חברים, אם יש פה צורך בתרגום, בבקשה תכתבו לנו או אפילו תגידו, או אם משהו לא ברור, בבקשה לעצור אותי, כי אני באמת רוצה שכולם יבינו. So what I just said is that I want everyone to be able to follow and understand, so even feel free to interrupt me if needed or write in the chat if something isn't clear in Hebrew or in English, and we'll explain everything. So Erasmus Plus activities in Israel, what activities do we have? We have, of course, the mobility programs, which are going on in full strength. And despite the current situation, we have the cooperation projects in higher education, in vet, and also in youth. We have the Jean Monnet projects that are centered in European Union studies. We have joint degrees, and we have joint master's degrees and joint master design measures, which are actually projects to create even bigger collaboration between Israel and the EU in joint master's degrees for excelling students. These are excelling programs. We have, of course, the youth initiatives, and we have the Israeli Erasmus Plus Higher Education Reform Experts Team, what you see as HERES. This is a program that actually creates workshops and brings EU experts to Israel to have workshops for policymakers, for institutions, for organizations. And what we focus on in these 3 years is sustainability, SDG goals, and employability and industry academia collaboration. So the Erasmus Plus, yes.
Sorry. Would you mind going over that in Hebrew too? Because we are
כן,
doing the
אני
double
אשמח,
thing.
מעולה. זה באמת משהו שבאמת חשוב לי לומר בעברית לכל מי שכאן. תוכנית ארסמוס היא תוכנית מאוד רחבה, יש לה המון סוגים של קולות קוראים. יש קולות קוראים בתחום של ניידות, שזה בעצם נסיעה של אנשים פרטיים או של קבוצות מישראל לאירופה, וגם לארח קבוצות מאירופה לישראל, קבוצות או יחידים, כן? זה יכול להיות ברמת סגל או ברמת עובדים של ארגון, וזה גם עובדים מנהליים, וזה יכול להיות ברמת סטודנטים וצעירים. יש לנו פרויקטים זה בעצם שיתוף פעולה של איזשהו קונסורציום, של איזשהו מאגד של ארגונים בישראל ובאירופה, שהפוקוס שלהם בדרך כלל הוא לפתח איזשהו משהו בישראל שכרגע לא מתוקצב, לא ממומן, להיות איזשהו תמריץ, איזשהו זרז לתחום שהוא פשוט לא מפותח בישראל, והיינו רוצים לפתח באמצעות מומחיות אירופאית. זה גם עוזר לכם לבנות שיתופי פעולה בינלאומיים בין הארגון שלכם לארגונים מקבילים שאתם יכולים לעבוד איתם באירופה, וזה גם מאפשר ליצור בישראל איזשהו אימפקט גם ברמה המוסדית, אבל גם שיתוף פעולה רחב יותר אולי של מוסדות מתחרים או מוסדות שלא משתפים פעולה אחד עם השני בדרך כלל. גם בפרויקטים האלה אפשר לערב גורמי ממשל, אפשר לעשות את זה נפרד ועצמאי, יש המון סוגים של קולות קוראים, וענבר עכשיו אולי גם תשתף שאתם יכולים לקבוע איתנו פגישות, אנחנו פינינו יומיים שלמים מהלו"ז שלנו, רק כדי להיפגש אחד על אחד איתכם ולייעץ לכם בבניית הפרויקטים שלכם, אז יש לינק להרשמה לזה, אנחנו נשמח לשתף את זה איתכם, וגם תוכלו לדבר איתנו בצורה יותר קונקרטית על מה שאתם רוצים לקדם, גם בהמשך היום אתם תשמעו כל מיני דוגמאות של פרויקטים שיציגו את מה שהם עושים. יש לנו את ז'אן מונה, שזה רלוונטי בעיקר למוסדות האקדמיים פה, ובעיקר לחוקרים שעוסקים בלימודי אירופה, זו תוכנית די ממוקדת, כן? יש תוכניות לתארים משותפים ולבניית תארים משותפים, תארים שניים. יש תוכניות בתחום הצעירים והנוער, שזה גם פרויקטים וגם ניידות, ויש את פורום המומחים של ארסמוס פלוס שעוסק בקיימות ובאקדמיה תעסוקה ותעסוקתיות באקדמיה. תודה רבה ענבר. אז אוקיי, אז אני אמשיך לרגע בעברית ואני אחזור לאנגלית. מה זה השיתופי פעולה האלה בין ישראל לאירופה? יש מדינות בתכלת שאתם רואים, ישראל היא אחת מהן, זה מדינות לא חברות בארסמוס, ויש את המדינות בכחול כהה שהן חברות בארסמוס. שיתופי הפעולה נעשים בין המדינות הכחול בהיר לכחול כהה. So I'll just repeat in English that there are program countries, what used to be program countries and today member states and associated third countries. These are the EU countries and other affiliated countries that we collaborate with in building our projects. We want to create as much projects between the light blue countries, which Israel is one of them, and the dark blue countries, which are the Erasmus program countries. So these are EU member countries, זה מדינות חברות באיחוד האירופי, פלוס עוד 6 מדינות שרשומות כאן, North Macedonia, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Turkey, Serbia. Okay, so the general idea is that the knowledge comes, הידע והמומחיות בא מהמדינות החברות אל ישראל. The knowledge comes from the EU member countries to Israel. Of course, this is sometimes reciprocated, ברור שלפעמים זה גם משהו שהוא הדדי, כן? גם אנחנו מעבירים אליהם ידע, אנחנו גם מדינה מאוד מפותחת, זה מאוד תלוי בסוג הפרויקט, יש פרויקטים שיותר ממוקדות בפיתוח באירופה, ויש פרויקטים שיותר ממוקדים בפיתוח בישראל. Some projects are more focused on promoting things intra-European, and Israel can join as an organization or an associate with extra added value. But most of the projects that we talk about are actually centered in Israel, and we want to bring the expertise from the EU countries to Israel. So here you have the different countries and regions. בעצם הכל מחולק לפי מחוזות. אנחנו מחוז 3, Israel is considered region 3, and you can see who are the countries with us within the region. Algeria, Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Libya, Morocco, the Palestinian territories, Syria, and Tunisia. So these are all with us in the region, and some projects are regional. This is, of course, a challenge for Israeli organizations to collaborate with some countries that we don't even have diplomatic ties with. So this is very challenging, but I can tell you that this happens. אני יכולה לומר לכם שלמרות האתגר שבשיתופי פעולה פנים מחוזיים, כן, לא כל התוכניות הן פנים מחוזיים, אבל יש תוכניות שהן פנים מחוזיות, למרות האתגר יש לנו מוסדות שכן עושים פרויקטים מדהימים, ויש לנו סשן על זה בסוף היום. We have a session about these challenges and how we can create more, how we can kind of overcome this challenge to create regional cooperations with some examples, concrete examples. This will be in 1:15. Okay, so, yeah, okay, I heard a sissing. Okay, horizontal aspects. The Erasmus Plus program has 4 horizontal aspects that it wants to promote in all of its activities. This is inclusion and diversity, environmental sustainability, the digital dimension, which means making things more digital and more efficient. Also digital literacy and things such as that go under this dimension. And of course, the common values and civic engagement and participation. The EU, the European Union has common values of democracy, of equity, and other values that are in the heart of the European Union's coming together. And also the neighboring countries, such as Israel, we want to be part of those common values and to spread them within our own societies and in the world. אז בעצם יש 4 אלמנטים בתוכנית ארסמוס באופן כללי, שזה גיוון והכלה, קיימות, כל האלמנט הדיגיטלי והדיגיטציה וההתייעלות של מערכות וכלי למידה וכל מיני דרכים בעצם לשפר את החיים של צעירים בישראל, והערכים המשותפים, הדמוקרטיים, שמאחדים את מדינות האיחוד האירופי, אבל לא רק, גם אנחנו חולקים ערכים דומים עם האיחוד האירופי ורוצים לקדם אותם בתוך החברות שלנו ובכלל בעולם. Okay, this is a very important slide if someone has been sleeping. These are actually the open calls and their budget within our region. It doesn't mean that the regional calls, it means that that's how Erasmus Plus works. Each region has their own budget. And then all of the countries within the region, they compete on the same budget. So we have CB Vet, which we'll get into in the next session. So that's 4 million euros. This is all euros. I'm sorry, I didn't write this down. And something new about CBVET, that cross-regional applications are no longer eligible. Okay, this means that you can have a national application like in CBHE, or you can have a regional application. But cross-regional applications are no longer eligible. For example, an application together with India or with Georgia. Okay, which is, and if you have any questions, you can just stop me. CBHE is capacity building in higher education. So our budget is higher. It's almost 8 million euros. And here, of course, cross-regional funds. What they've done new this year, you can see a row underneath CBHE for cross-regional funds. They actually set aside an amount for cross-regional funds, which is 9.5 million euros. And all cross-regional funds that will be awarded will be from this fund. So we also have so that way there's no clashes between the national and the regional projects with the cross-regional projects. I thought it would be interesting for you to know that the top regions are Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. They get the highest funding, about 22 million euros, something like that, I think. You can get all this information on the funding and tender opportunities portal. We'll send you the link as well. Okay, and then we have CBY, capacity building in youth. So this is closed for regional projects only, but you can, and it's a global budget. So all of the countries are actually competing with one another. So it's not such a big call, but we still have two projects that were awarded for Israel this year. We have virtual exchange, which is a call within itself. And actually, the amount grew within the years. I remember when this call started, it was about 1.7 million euros. It's a global budget, but now it's almost 6 million euros, and it's limited to a few regions. So 1 to 3. We're region 3, so of course it's applicable to us, and region 9. So I think this is a great opportunity, the virtual exchange, more than it has been in the past. We have the EMJM, which is the joint master's degrees with 150 million euro budget, the EMDM with the Erasmus Mundus design measures, which is a stepping stone to the EMJM. If you want to plan together with partners, you take a year to plan your joint master degrees, you can get funding for that through the Erasmus Mundus design measures. And of course, I didn't mention here that Israeli partners can take part in many intra-EU calls upon proving their essential added value. So I want to give you some more numbers on this. So CBVET that we've discussed, maybe I'll say this even in Hebrew. התוכנית של capacity building בוות, שזה הכשרה מקצועית וטכנולוגית, ההצלחה של הזכיות של ישראל היא 50%, אוקיי? היה לנו 4 הגשות ו2 זכו. In CBHE, the success rate is lower. We've had 9 submissions and only 1 has been awarded. So the funding is bigger, but the success rate is lower and the competition is tougher. In CBY, 33% success rate. Virtual exchanges and EMJM, 100% success rate. כל ההגשות שהיו לפרויקט של ניידות וירטואלית ושל EMJM, זכינו. אמנם לא היו המון הגשות, לא אינסוף, ב-EMJM היו 5 וב-Virtual Exchange רק 1, אבל עדיין זה נתון די מעניין. you can see that there's 100, like there are not so many applications, but still all the applications were granted. So that's something to take into account. Okay, so we went forward to a lump sum 2. מי שמכיר את תוכנית ארסמוס מלפני, בעצם התקצוב וצורת הדיווח הייתה מאוד מאוד מסורבלת, היה קשה לנהל פרויקטים, זה דרש המון השקעה ועבודה בדיווח התקציבי, והיום זה עבר פשוט מאוד מאוד רציני. מגישים תקציב, אם התקציב הזה מאושר, יוצאים לדרך, והכל תלוי עמידה באבני דרך וביעדים שהוצבו על ידי הפרויקט, ולא נכנסים לתוך הניהול הכלכלי הפנימי, סומכים עליכם שאתם מנהלים את זה כמו שצריך. כמובן, אם יש דגלים אדומים ומשהו חריג קורה, אז כן יכולים לבקש בירור ופרטים, כן? לא צריך לזרוק את הקבלות. I'll just say that the lump sum 2 makes the projects much easier to manage and if in the past it was very difficult to all of the reporting process was very demanded a lot of hours. It's become much easier, and you're actually measured by your milestones and your deliverables. So you just have to build a very good budget, a realistic and justified budget, and then you can be awarded. And then after you're awarded, you can just go up and running, and there's no need to submit all of the receipts. Unless, of course, there is anything that's been flagged in your project, and then you would have to show transparency and show that everything is done correctly. So moving on up to selection results. So you can see here again the success rate in general. In EMJM, you can see a 45% success rate, which is pretty high. This is a very highly funded project. It's millions of euros to manage a joint master's degree. So I think this is a wonderful call that Israel is very relevant in it. 5 out of 5 applications and proposals involving Israel were accepted. Okay, EMDM. This is what we said. This is the call that is prior to actually submitting an EMJM. You want to build the joint master's degree together, and then you can do it and get funding for the year of building the joint master's degree. Also very high success rates. This is the worldwide results, almost 60%. Jean Monnet, as we see, just 6%. This is a very specific call for very specific experts and academia members, but still, Israel has very good results in standing in Jean Monnet. We're very proud of Ben Gurion, for example, that have had chairs of excellence for years now. And of course, there are newcomers in the Open University that have won, and we're very proud of all of you. So moving on to our region, the region of Southern Mediterranean. So we have capacity building in higher education. As you can see, very competitive call. In VET, the scope changes a bit. We have 32% success rate. And in capacity building of youth, 19%. And then in Erasmus virtual exchange, 20%. But I can assure you, because this is specifically Erasmus Virtual Exchange, because this is a regional project that we need to cooperate within the region, that I think that the EU really wants to encourage our cooperation with our neighboring countries. And if you manage to get a project together, we will of course help you with that. But you have even higher chances of winning the grant, of course, if the project is worthy and relevant. So what makes a good project? So first of all, you have the consortium itself. Who are your partners? Are you including players in VET, in higher education, in private or public organizations? Are you involving decision makers and NGOs? Do you have a balance of experience in newcomers? Because Erasmus really wants to see newcomers joining, not always the same people winning, but on the other hand, you want to see experience, want to see a track record. So you have to have a good mix. Clear needs analysis. When you build a project, you have to have a very clear, make it very clear why this project is relevant. So the needs analysis needs to come before even the application. You can't write within your application where the first the deliverable will be a needs analysis. The needs analysis has already needed to be done when you have when you submit the application. This makes your application stronger. It has to have realistic impact, because if you promise the world, then it's pretty obvious that you won't stand and you won't have a good project because you won't be able to achieve your milestones. But you need to show the impact that you think would be result in your project, and this impact needs to be something something good and sustainable, something desired. Concrete outputs and deliverables. This is very important for you to manage the project later. If you write something that even you yourself don't understand what is the output and what is the deliverable, it will be hard for you to deliver, and it will be hard for your project officer to understand your project and understand your activities. Of course, another tip is have it all in line with policy documents and regional priorities of the EU. You can use a lot there. The EU has very, very organized papers about their priorities in our region, even in Israel, and also in certain fields. You can adopt these standards, adopt these priorities, adopt these goals, and try to incorporate them in what you want to achieve. And of course, a balanced EU grant. It has to be balanced. For example, in capacity building, the focus is here in Israel. So if most of the money goes to the EU partners in the management of the project, it doesn't make sense, okay? If you need a Hebrew translation, write, and then Inbar will interrupt me and I'll translate and add more information. So, this is a bit about, זה אני אגיד גם בעברית, כי זה חשוב לי דווקא לחדשים שנמצאים פה, שלא בהכרח איתנו, רגילים ככה לפלואו הזה בעברית, באנגלית, סליחה. מאוד מאוד מאוד מאוד חשוב לחדשים בארסמוס, להתחיל כבר עכשיו, אפילו לפני שהגשתם את הפרויקט שלכם, את תהליך ההרשמה, במערכת ה-Funding and Tender Opportunities. זה ממש חשוב. היו לנו מקרים, זה קרה עכשיו, פרויקט שזכה, מכללה שזכתה, והם לא הספיקו לאשר ולאשרר בזמן את המעמד שלהם במערכת של האיחוד האירופי, והם פשוט נשרו מהפרויקט, וזה פשוט חבל, כל כך הרבה השקעה ועבודה. I'll repeat in English. So it's important to start the validation process as soon as possible, even before you've written your project, even while you're looking for your partners, because it takes time to approve your standing and your organization's standing in the Funding and Tender Opportunities portal, okay? So we have a few steps. We have registration, we have the verification and validation of your legal data. You need to send a lot of documents, legal existence and legal status, legal entity appointed, a lot of documents proving that you exist, okay? I know it sounds funny, but it's not a given. And then later you have to appoint a LER. LER means legal entity appointed representative. That means the person that's managing your project. אז יש מורשה חתימה, ויש את הליר שבעצם מנהל את הפרויקט. וזה איזשהו תהליך לאשרר מי המורשה החתימה בארגון שלכם, להוכיח שהוא מורשה החתימה, ואז למנות את הליר, אוקיי? זה משהו שלוקח קצת זמן, זה תכתובת מול ה-EU, אז לא להשאיר את זה לרגע האחרון, לאחרי שאתם זוכים בפרויקט. תעשו את זה כבר עכשיו, תתחילו. אוקיי? You have to appoint your legal representative, you have to show that he exists, you have to bring all sorts of documents that show his function and his position, and after that's approved, then you're in the clear, okay? Sometimes there's also a financial capacity assessment, but that's only if it's needed and requested by the Europeans, and then you have to show some bank statements and things like that. So start this process. If you're interested in Erasmus and you want to submit a project, just start it on low key, על אש קטנה, תתחילו את התהליך, כדי שיהיה לכם את כל מה שאתם צריכים. אוקיי, תודה רבה רבה לכולם על ההקשבה. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any questions, now is the time. And if not, then we'll continue to our next presentation.
I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your in-depth representation, and well, it was very clear. I wondered if there is any social networks so we can team up and find out what are the existing projects and
That's an amazing question, and I'm so sorry I didn't add this slide. And we'll add this slide when we send you all the PPTs. We'll add a slide of our communities because there is a community. We have 2 WhatsApp groups, okay? One for higher education collaborations and one for general Erasmus updates. The general Erasmus updates is in Hebrew most of the time, and the HE is mixed, and you can join both of them. I think there are links to our WhatsApp groups in our website. Inbal will send them now. We also have a newsletter, and we have Facebook, LinkedIn. So we'll send you all of our social data so you can be in touch with us. Okay, but it's a very lively community, and you're welcome to join it. And also, we'll be starting, we want really to create a vet community that also works together. So that's something that we'll keep you posted about. So now, any more questions, or can I go dive into? Yeah,
Hi.
okay. Hi.
Hi. Could you please elaborate on virtual exchange programs?
Yes. So virtual exchange programs, it's a call that you actually build build a process for students or youth that work together. It can be in different aspects and goals. It can be a course, it could be something extracurricular, it could be different kinds of initiatives. But the main point is that they meet each other and they work together from a distance. They don't actually meet. It all happens online. And then the funding doesn't go to travel costs and things like that. It goes to administrative things that are required to manage this project successfully. Okay, so now we'll dive into capacity building in VET, unless there are any more questions. You can also ask later, it's fine. We have all day. Actually, we have all day. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Second. Sorry. Second, sorry. It's always something. Okay. Sorry. Okay, you can see my screen now? Yes? Okay, great. So capacity building in the field of vocational education and training. And I'm very glad we've been able to bring together vet providers and higher education institutions. I know that some higher education institutions are also vet providers, so we'll also get into that, okay, today. So what is the aim of capacity building vet? This is an international cooperation project, like we described, between the EU member state and third countries associated to the program, with us, Israel, third countries not associated to the program. So what they want to do is to support the relevance, accessibility, and responsiveness of vet institutions and systems in our country, okay? So you can imagine that we have a lot to learn from Europe in this regard, because Israel's vet system, we can learn a lot from a lot of European countries that are doing it maybe better than us, more focused than us, and more successfully, with better connection between the vet institutions and the higher education system, and of course the needs of the market, of the national and global market. So we have a lot to learn, and we have a lot to develop. So who can apply for this, right? So that's, I think there's been an assumption that higher education institutions cannot apply and cannot take part in VET collaborations, which is just not true, okay? Any organization, and this is a non-exhaustive list, okay? Any public or private organization that is active, you need to be active in the field of VET. VET, משמע, Vocational Education and Training, בעברית, הכשרה מקצועית וטכנולוגית. לדעתי, לכל המוסדות יש איזושהי נגיעה להכשרה מקצועית וטכנולוגית, okay? So this is something to bring into account. So what are the thematic areas? For example, right? You can have much more. You can have teachers and trainers, professional development, quality assurance mechanisms, work-based learning, skill matching with current and future job opportunities, green and digital skills. I mean, this is not exhaustive, and you can see that this is very coinciding with what we've been doing in capacity building, innovation in VET, public and private partnerships in VET, building key competencies and including entrepreneurship, okay? So this is very relevant to what we've all been doing so far. What kind of activities can we do? A multitude of activities. We can create networks and exchanges of good practices. We can build tools and programs and other materials that can build the capacity of these institutions. We can involve the private sector and have these kind of joint collaborations. And sorry?
Eina, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, can you just go back a bit and pinpoint the difference between VET and capacity building?
Okay, this is also capacity building. This is just another call. There's capacity building in higher education.
Within. Okay.
There's capacity building in VET, okay?
Mhm.
Higher
Yeah.
education institutions can take part in capacity building in VET.
Thank you.
The focus is the VET, the aspect of vocational education and training, okay? So it's not academic training, it's vocational education and training. I'll get into the consortium building because I think it would make a difference for you, okay? So what countries can participate? As we said, the dark blue countries from before and us. You should take into account that, as I said, you can't have cross-regional applications here. It's not like CBHE. So you have to focus only solely on Israel, or if you're adventurous, you can have a joint VET proposal with our neighboring countries together with the EU. And the total budget, this is a global budget, 25 million euros. And for our region, it's 4 million euros. So it's a little more than half of the CBHE budget, but it's a less competitive proposal. So you can see here how less competitive it is. Look at 2022. Look at the bottom two lines. 58 projects reached the threshold and 58 projects were selected. Okay, that's amazing numbers. I mean, I've never seen these kind of numbers. And a year after, which was a bit more competitive, you had 87 that reached the threshold and 60 that actually were granted proposals. That means even now, even in 2023, there was a 70% chance of success if you don't include inadmissible and ineligible projects. I'm counting on you that you wouldn't even submit inadmissible or ineligible projects, okay? And if you do include those projects, it's still 37% success rate. So it's still pretty high, okay? So it's something to take into account. Wait, I can't move my slides. Yes. So let's see just Israel, okay? I know this is a very complex table, but what I think the main point is these two, okay? In CBHE, we had 9 proposals this year, and only 1 was awarded. In VET, we had 3 and 2 were awarded. Okay, so even my stats from before were even lower. It's not 50% success rate, it's about 67% success rate. So it's pretty good odds.
Enough?
Yes.
May I ask, these projects are done only in Israel, or this can be done in a European country? For example, one of these vocational programs or building a network, etc. Is it something that is okay?
Yes, I understand your question. Of course, it's together. the focus, it doesn't have to be in Israel, but the focus is Israel. For example, if the point of your vet is creating and building a network that Israel is a partner in, and this will help Israel build its capacities in different fields, so that network can be part of your deliverables. That's something that you can work together. You can also fly to the EU member states to have tours and trainings and learn from them. But the point is that then you come back to Israel and you actually you implement or you gain more knowledge to do your work better or to create more capacities in Israel. Okay,
And if
so
I think that we have more to give than they in this respect, and I think that we need to create a network, but create a network there maybe and pass knowledge from here to there. Is
okay,
that
so that's possible through Erasmus. That's not capacity building. There are calls that are Israel focused. They're not specifically Israel, but partner country focused. And there are calls that are more intra-European. For example, they want to build capacities in a certain field, and your organization has the knowledge and expertise to contribute, so they can add you to their consortium, even though the call is not open to Israel. Because you have an additional added value, you can join their consortium and apply with them. This is something that in the past we put a lot of emphasis on our info days, because we've seen that there are more and more, it's called cooperation partnerships, more and more cooperation partnerships between Israel and the EU. But then sometimes we found it discouraging for some of the participants, because usually these cooperation partnerships, they grow from existing collaborations and existing connections between Israeli organizations and EU organizations. So it's kind of telling the wealthy people, continue your wealth, and then those who don't have these connections yet are kind of in the dark, and it doesn't really help them gain more projects. So I put less emphasis this year on that, but it's another branch of Erasmus, and it's very good, and Israel is very succeeding in it. Okay, so that's another way to go.
Yeah, and just another clarification here. Where is this relates only to a partnership between institutions, or is also on an individual basis? So a specific researcher, let's say, can apply for one of these.
That's a great question. That's a wonderful question. So, of course, the people that are actually doing the projects are individuals that are working and promoting the specific field in their institution. But Erasmus projects are actually agreements between institutions. So the person that's signing this agreement is the president of each organization or the signature authority between the organizations, and not a specific person. There are a few elements in Erasmus that are specific to people. For example, students that want to apply to Erasmus Mundus scholarships and things like that. But on a general whole, all of these projects are between organizations. They are agreements between organizations, and the consortiums are consortiums between the presidents of the organizations. Even if when you drill down, it started with a specific staff member that wanted to collaborate with another specific staff member, okay? So the institutions need to sign something together, and then they get to work together and develop what they want to develop. Okay, was that clear?
Yes. So,
Okay.
so actually the first step is that to make our organizations apply and become part of this system, right? And once they are registered, etc., then we can continue with our individual.
You can do it simultaneously. You can that's something that's really great about Erasmus. You can just open a profile and get it's called a PIC number. You get a PIC number, it's your like ID in the EU system, and you can start your proposal. You can even submit it, but until the grant agreement, to sign the actual grant agreement, if you're awarded, you need to validate your institution, and you need to do the whole process that I've shown before. That's why I tell people, don't wait up until the moment that you get your grant agreement and then you're not validated in the system. Do all this ahead of time, okay?
I have a question enough. So the institution itself, like my institution, we have the PIC number and everything is sorted. But when we're talking about vocational training, it means that perhaps we need to involve an organization that exists outside our college. And so does that organization require a PIC number of its own
Yes,
process?
yes.
So
Answer
there
is
has
yes.
to be registration of another organization. It doesn't come in on my part.
Exactly. You
Okay.
rely on them to do the same process on their side. So, and the next slide, I'll give you a
Hold on, enough for a second. Can you go back one slide?
yes.
I want to see the percentage of capacity building for higher education.
Yes.
It
So you can
was,
see that the numbers are a bit discouraging. I
it
think
was 21%.
21 on the general success rate, but if you look at Israel, then it's even lower. It's there were 9 applications and only 1 awarded, so I'll do the math. It's
11%.
11%, yes.
I
So
didn't
it's
do the
even
math,
Thank
I
you.
just showed it.
you're wonderful. So yeah, so it's a bit discouraging, but if you focus on it, we have a presentation about that, by the way. Inbal is going to give a presentation just about higher education in the afternoon, okay? So we'll really get into capacity building and how to kind of break this cycle, and a lot of tips on how you can get better chances of being awarded, okay? We don't want to discourage you, but it does need to be very focused on a thematic level and on a partner choice level. It just can't be just a general application and hope for the best, okay?
Hey, now,
Yeah,
please say a word about the budget.
the budget of CBVET.
Yeah, maybe, but maybe also in general because of the 80% of the.
Okay, so I'm getting into that right now, and I hope I make my time. I will, I always do. So, a bit about the call. Okay, so the duration of the CBVET, it can be shorter. It can be, I don't recommend ever submitting a project of 1 year, okay, in capacity building. It's not a good idea. But 2 years or 3 years, it's possible. As we said, the budget is a maximum of 400,000 euros. Okay, so it's a lower budget than CBHE, but we'll get into the consortium because the consortium is smaller. Okay, and the minimum requirements for the consortium is smaller, so it kind of evens out. So what does that mean? That the EU grant can cover a maximum of 80%. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to match the funds. You know, you don't have to have a bank transfer or something like that. It can be things that are equivalent to cost. What do I mean? Spaces that you rent out that you are going to dedicate for the project, or people that are hired already, that you're hiring, and you want to dedicate maybe half of their hours to working on this project. So that's actually money that you contribute as an organization without actually transferring funds. אני אגיד את זה גם בעברית כי זה חשוב לי שכולם יבינו. התקציב של capacity building vet הוא עד 400,000 יורו מבחינת המענק של ה-EU, וזה יכול לכסות רק 80% מהפרויקט. אבל לא צריך להילחץ ולחשוב שעכשיו אתם צריכים ממש לייחד כספים לתחום הזה, כמו שאתם יכולים לייחד משאבים. אתם יכולים לייחד חללים במוסד שיש להם ערך כלכלי לפרויקט, אתם יכולים לייחד חצאי משרה או רבע משרה או משרה מלאה, מישהו שכבר מועסק אצלכם כדי לנהל את הפרויקט או כדי לעשות איזשהו אלמנט בפרויקט, וזה נחשב תרומה שלכם לתקציב הפרויקט, אוקיי? בבסיס התקציב. So you have all this information on where to apply and the deadline, and of course we'll share this slide with you. And now I want to get down to the consortia because this is very important. The consortium must include at least one vet provider at non-tertiary education level, okay? That means it can't all be higher education institutions. You have to have at least one vet provider from a non-tertiary, I can't say it, education level. But that's it, that's the minimum requirement. It's not much, and it can really contribute to both organizations to start building such cooperations. And Ira that asked me a question before, we'll discuss in 11:15 about her case study that they've submitted, the NURIC project. So Another something that's very different from CBHE is that only program countries can be the coordinator. In CBHE, also Israel can be a coordinator, not here, okay? So it doesn't have to be necessarily a vet provider, but you need an EU organization that's willing to coordinate. And a minimum is four full partners, okay? And this is, of course, it make you to be eligible, you can't have more EU countries than Israeli participants, okay? Or third country participants, if you're talking about a regional project. So something new about this call, as I said, is that cross-regional projects are not eligible, but multiple submissions are eligible, okay? So you can submit multiple submissions under this call with your organization. Doesn't disqualify you. So
Question in the chat about the consortia for partners from different countries, or can some of them be from the same country?
Again?
Do the 4 partners need to be from 4 different countries?
No, not at all. Because you need, I think you need, now I'm at a blank, but I think what you need is just, no, I think you need 2 EU countries. Inbal will fact check me now, but I think you need 2 EU countries. So the minimum, you need 1 organization, for example, from Germany, one from Italy, and then 2 organizations here in Israel. That's the minimum requirement. I encourage you never to go for the bare minimum, because if one of your partner falls, for example, the example that I gave with a project that has 1 partner fell because they didn't approve their legal entity in time. Luckily, they had another partner country member, so that the whole project didn't fall. Just this 1 partner fell and they signed without that partner, okay? So that's something that I wouldn't go for the bare minimum, because you never know what happens. Maybe somebody suddenly loses their job or have a personal crisis, and the whole thing relied on them, and then the organization won't sign in the end. So don't take the bare minimum.
So I'm just going to confirm that you need 2 EU member states or associated country, 1 eligible third country not associated.
Yeah. And we'll add this to the presentation so that it's clear to you and you won't have to go looking for that. So some feedback from the monitoring of existing projects. So again, needs analysis, to have an impactful needs analysis is very good for every project, okay? So you know what you're going to change, you've already measured it, you know what you're going into, and there's no need to start reinventing the wheel when the project is selected. So again, this is a tip that they really are interested in impact for learners and for youth. And that's something that that interests the assessors. And and your deliverables need to be very quality deliverables. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time to remember what the point of this these 2 points are. So reporting periods are contractual obligations and do not need deliverable on it. Okay, so you have reporting periods, okay, usually in the middle of your project and at the end of it. And that doesn't have to be connected to one deliverable or another. It's just reporting what you've done and how you've promoted those deliverables. And you have the milestones that need to be accomplished, okay? And the milestones are kind of organized according to the reporting period. So there are 2 aspects. There are the deliverables and there's the milestones in the reporting period. So there can be a mix-up. I think this is also relevant for capacity building in higher education. Because of the lump sum 2 and the whole transition to STOP, then some of the terminology got mixed up for people. So they just want to make sure that you understand that you have your project deliverables, you have your milestones, and you have your reporting periods.
Einav,
Yeah.
can you give me an example of what you mean by a deliverable?
Yes.
What are
So
deliverables?
So deliverables, it's a very you kind of decide for yourself what is your deliverable according to what is your goal and what is your wanted impact and project. For example, our office is also a project. We had to submit through the system that you're working with, this whole thing, and our deliverables are different from your deliverables. For example, one of our deliverables is having these info sessions, okay, once a year. So we have these 3 deliverables, but it can be something else. If you're working on I'm trying to give an example, a real example. If you're working on building a platform for your students to have online interactions with people from Germany, then I think a deliverable can be the creation of the platform. A deliverable could be creating a new course and its syllabus, for example. Okay, so that can be a deliverable.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, so the whole idea of communication and dissemination and stakeholder engagement of your project, it starts from day 1. You don't work on your project and then only in the last quarter work on dissemination. You have to work on disseminating your project and adding more interest and value for the whole on different scales, okay, the entire time, the entire duration of the project. And of course, what Ira is doing today, when she's going to promote her case study on her project, would be part of the dissemination of her project. Okay, that's an example. So, and so just know that big consortia are more difficult to manage. And of course, regional or in this case, cross-regional is not eligible, but these are harder to manage. So the proposal stage should be even more tight, more accurate. The needs need to be accurate, and the common goals need to be accurate. So here, I won't get into all of this, but you have a lot of references on how to find partners. I know this is the main difficulty for most of you. So we have a lot of references. There are so many European networks, and Lida will talk a bit about this soon. She's talking after me. She'll give me a break to drink some water. But so many platforms, so many networks that you can connect and be part of that can help you find the partners that you're looking for. Also partners within Israel, okay? Involve organizations from your country, involve existing partners that you have from different aspects. Maybe you can apply together for Erasmus. You can go to the Erasmus Plus results platform where you can see the awarded projects, and you have also the contact information of the people who have already won projects. You can search by field, you can search by country, you can search by different variants, and you can also write text chofshi, whatever you want, and find specific projects that are related to what you're interested in, and contact those organizations that work on these fields through Erasmus. And there's partner search announcements. I don't know if all of you are familiar with this, but within the funding and tender portal, there's a place you can post announcements yourself. We're looking for partners in such and such field. And you can also see who posted partner search announcements. So that's a very handy tool. And each call has its own partner search announcement. So you can go to VET, CBVET, you can go to CBHE, you can go to cooperation partnerships and look at the announcements. Okay. And of course, I don't know if it's on here. Okay. There's more and more. We have our own partner search database for people that are looking for partners in Israel. I know it's a challenge. It could be a challenge today too. And you can go to our partner search database and look at the different institutions that actually wrote that they're interested in partnerships with Israel and in what fields. Lida will talk soon about the ETF, but there are other networks and there are other platforms that you can dive into, and that's more than a lot of ways to find partners. And you can always contact us, the National Erasmus Plus office. So key resources for building this presentation was, of course, the Erasmus Plus guide, the funding and tender and opportunities portal, and the ACA website. There's also info sessions that have occurred in the past by ACA. which is the agency that operates the Erasmus Plus program. And you can also see that as well if you want it from the horse's mouth. So thank you all. And without further ado, I would like to invite our dear friend and partner and colleague, Lida Kita, Senior Human Capital Development Expert in Social Inclusion and Country Liaison for Israel, Serbia, and Turkey at the European Training Foundation. And of course, to say hello to Julian van Uden, Human Capital Development Expert in Innovative Teaching and Learning. Hello to both of you and welcome. So, and Julian, the floor is yours. Go up for a minute. So what we'll do now, because Lida is probably got up for a second, we'll ask Ira if she's up and running to do her session now. You are here. Yes.
No, I'm here. But you can give the floor to whoever, honestly.
No, the floor is absolutely yours.
No, please.
No, Lida, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. And it's very difficult to say something more after Einaf and Inar. So you have said it all. Really, you are, in my experience, this long-term experience that we have, it's you are the best. You are the best in the way you present the Erasmus program and all the EU programs in Israel, how you outreach, how much you outreach in the country, but not only in the country, in all the countries, and also the wisdom that you have accumulated throughout the processes. No, because as you said, and you come back with some very special explanation and to the point for the partners, because these are also the key pillars. No, it's a learning process. You have to learn about it. So big thank you from on behalf of our institution for the way you collaborate with us. Would you mind to put the 3 slides I have just for people to see the partners? But
yes, do you want to share your screen?
Can you put it yourself if you can do it? Because I don't want to.
Yes.
So I am impressed also by the members that you have and the level. So I thank you, and also Dr. McCory and you as a team for organizing and putting this. So we as I am here with my colleagues
between the train and the platform.
Oh, Lida, did you send it to me on email?
Yes, this is the one.
Okay,
yes.
Wonderful.
So just for people to know who we are, so you can pass to the other slide. We are an EU agency and we are based in Torino, Italy, but we are part of the commission, the technical part, and we work on, I've written here, for education, training, labor market systems in the context of EU external relationship. We work with the countries, and I would like for people to see also the possible partners. That's why I wanted to, these people can read when you send. So these are the countries we work with. So it's the countries surrounding EU, and these are some of the also partners that Einaf mentioned in the presentation. You can pass to the other, because people can put questions then. We have some thematic areas, no, that we work with the countries, and I've picked up some of the areas that we work with Israel in this case, but not only Israel, because Israel is one of the key partners that we have. It's very active, and they participate in all our engagement with all the other partners. Also, we as an institution, we do a kind of, I'm not saying monitoring, but analysis on the developments that the countries have, and we do it together with the structures in the country for the different areas. And some in all these areas that I have put in this slide, we have done with Israel, what we call it, being it Torino process, we call it, it's a name, just a name, as you know, where we do analysis on the countries. We do also cross-regional analysis based on these country profiles that and we have huge networks in the country because we work with public and private. So we work with the government. I mean, the governmental structures, the ministries that cover all these areas are our key counterparts, but also with the providers. And I'm happy also here to see some of the people that are very active in our networks outside the government, like Browder College. And we have been working for years with them and many others. Why I'm mentioning this analysis that we do and the progresses that the countries have done is useful for the Erasmus applications, because we, as an EU institution, we are among the evaluators, not assessors, as Einav mentioned when the projects come. We go through together with the Commission and with the Erasmus team to see that the proposals that are coming from the countries, in your case, Israel, being it among the Israeli partners, but also with other partners, EU partners, or from the countries, we see how much, what these projects with their chosen thematic area of implementation are having an impact on the systems in the country. I don't know if I'm clear enough, but to see how much this is connected with the priorities for the developments in the countries. Of course, according to their needs. So that's why this analysis, what we call, and I've sent to enough country fishes, means where we capture all the developments in the countries, all the key institutions, all the key partners. We make the analysis, and there you see, they will be looked when you make the proposals. If your proposal gives a contribution to all these priorities of the countries. You can put the other slide. And we work also within the EU. These are the areas in the qualification framework, work-based learning, staff training and career. And my colleague will say something how for this, how we have used Israel as a pilot, where we are looking at the development for the model for the staff training and career of teachers, not only teachers, but the whole for the VET system, and how this model of Israel that we have worked with Israel as an institution can be looked at as a model that can be rolled out with the other countries through Erasmus. You see what I mean? So we have looked at Israel, we have analyzed, and Jolene will say the words, but it's how we sustain it, no? It's not just for Israel, because other countries would like to look at this model, and Erasmus is a big tool for the rolling out and implementation. Einav and Inbar, you know that we were in Israel in September for the changing skills needs. So we do very deep analysis, not only for Israel, but we are talking of Israel. What is the skills panorama in Israel? No, what are the skills needed? But this is done closely with the Israeli counterparts, with the statistical office and all the institutions, research, and to see what are the needs of the sectors in Israel. The aim of this is not only to collect data and to say how these skills are responding to the labor market, it's what's the future and how all this analysis can influence also the provision of the education and training, being it in the formal system, but also through the private sector and all the other providers and all the networks that Israel has in providing the skills to the young people. We have looked at the financing of that in Israel, and I don't have to tell you how complex it is and how it's not complex in a bad meaning, means that it is so diverse that it's also difficult. For example, if you want to partner on this thing with some European ones, depending on the systems that they have to understand how the financing of that in Israel works, because that creates a more smooth partnership, and also you understand better each other for building and designing this partnership to apply for Erasmus program. And then I've given in the other slide, it's called European Commission has worked for the 3 years now, Centers of Vet Excellence. And I've given just a quick one, but then enough will give you some more links, no? And Israel is very active. We have from our countries, you can see in our countries, which is ETF, no? We call them ETF partner countries. We have 6 from Israel. And why I'm putting that? Because many partners from our countries, from the neighborhood countries, what we call them, they are very much interested to cooperate with Israel. They are very much interested to have partnership for the Erasmus, which is happening. And also I got, because I work in some of the countries, as I said, for example, with Turkey, with Serbia, even for this upcoming call, they have created so many programs, proposals for the Erasmus that will become, the results will become soon. And this is at all level. As Einaf said, I'm not going to go into that because she is the master of explaining. You need a medal. It's not just for the vet providers. It's for all levels. And it's the universities are very active in this network, because in this network, it's done all, it's A is the partnership, A, it's where are the skills provision. It's not just in the vet, lower level of vet. It's in the level 5, what we call is in the higher education. You will be surprised. The industries are working with the post university level experts. So industry, and depending on the country sectors, economic sectors, they are using so much this partnership at all level. So you will find in the partnership, as I said, vet providers, public or private, you'll find universities, you will find the postgraduate, and you'll find a lot of researchers coming from the higher education, because a lot of analysis are done for the skills agenda, because the sectors want to know what is they provide, and that's why they cooperate, the future of different sectors of the economies of the countries, and they do research, and they need all this level and cooperation. And that's why this network of vet centers of excellence is a great platform. I would encourage more Israeli counterparts to participate, because you give a big boost with your innovative ways in all the directions, and our countries that they love to cooperate with you. The last one, enough, and I close only if people have some questions. I've given you some lessons that we have learned while looking. As I said, we as an institution look at the evaluation, no, of by saying that yes, they respond to this, they respond to, and here I've given some key areas which is very important. But Einaf said, no, is the context. Is the content, and is what you want to, and to be very clear from the very beginning. And I've given what are the things that you need to focus, no, when you make your proposal. Networking is key, and networking not only with the country, but among the countries, but networking from the very beginning, because we have seen it surprisingly how much you learn, the partners learn from each other when they leak at the very beginning for this networking. And also the proposal is much, much stronger in the sense of it's very important for the partners. And I've put here some other areas, but also one of the areas is of these programs of Erasmus is it's not just to stop where the project is finished, is how the results of this Erasmus support programs, they feed into the policies of the given country or countries in order to improve, in order to make it more innovative, in order to bring more stakeholders around it. And I think that's it, enough, unless I have something else that I wanted, but you will give the PowerPoint presentation. I've given all the links here, and we are more than happy to share, but Einaf and Inbar, they are there, so they know, they have it all, and you can put any questions that you want. And if Einaf, before questions, maybe Jolene can say just a small example, no? How with this experimental work that we do with Israel, how we think to use for other countries for learning from Israel.
Yes, so good morning, everyone. I will be very quick, but I will try to share my screen to show the example. An example of what we did. I think now you can see my screen, right? I see Lida. I only see Lida at the moment, but I see her.
Yes, we see it.
Yeah, great. So what we developed based on a desk research, the READY model, a reference model for educators' activities and development in the 21st century. And we had the great opportunity to start testing this model based on desk research and literature review with 8 schools from the Ort and Amal networks. And they've done a really great job, and they're still in the process of finalizing the experiences and sharing the experiences. But they use the model to develop with their teachers based on the model for pedagogical or new pedagogical approaches. And I will share the link to this model in the chat, but it's an interactive model. You see that it consists of 6 domains plus a context-specific domain. And if you click on one of the domains, you will see the professional practices, foster meaningful learning. And if you click on the arrow, you will see indicators that illustrate how meaningful learning could look like. It's not a model that covers everything. What we try to do with the model is to highlight really the areas, the professional, the domains of professional practice that are relevant now in our current time. And this is part of the Creating New Learning initiative of the ETF. And we develop more tools that could be useful to use as to shape project proposals or to be inspired. One of the others, and I will also share a link in the chat, is, for example, the scaffold card deck consisting of 102 cards that can support educators in designing their learning activities, including key competences. I will stop here because I know we already went a bit over time, but I will share the links in the chat so you can have a look at those tools. Thank you. Enough, you're muted.
I was just thanking you very, very much. You and Lida both, you're such dear partners to us. And I think specifically the higher education institutions that are here, I mean, the VET providers already know you, but the higher education institutions, you don't understand what amazing partners we have at the European Training Foundation and the opportunities for collaboration with them. I mean, I have never referenced someone to the ETF and to Lida and never got a very, very fast response, a meeting, references, connections. I mean, it's endless, and it's really something to get into. And I really encourage you to go over the presentation because there was a lot of information there. And I think just sitting down and reading it would give you a lot of insight. And feel free to reach out to us and to them, because I know that they're very interested in creating more partnerships with Israel. And that's something to be valued. So thank you very much for being here today. And now I'll give the floor to Ira Ivshin Gueta, International Partnerships and Programs Manager at Holon Institute of Technology, HIT. I'm sorry, and I apologize that she's presenting year after year. That was, it's against protocol, but we really thought it would be interesting for you to learn about the VET CB project that she's won now, that their institution has won now. So without further ado, we'll give her the floor again.
Thank you. I'm sorry. But I have to say that maybe you should have given more time to ETF because it sounds very interesting. Maybe that we should, as a higher institution, higher education institutions should learn more about it, the possibilities. And I think that maybe we would like to, personally, HIT would like to examine it more deeply.
So maybe we can steal another 5 minutes, and if anyone has questions for Lida and Yulen, then of course feel free. If you're still with us, Lida and Yulen.
Yes, I'm here. So whatever.
Yeah.
I just wanted to rush, as you know, for time to give the partners more space, no?
No, you're
But,
important to us.
So if people have questions, but as I said, as you said, they can follow with emailing, you know, and especially me, I answer immediately and I can say yes, no, and I can connect you because as I said, we at ETF, we have a big pool of partners and they would like to work a lot with Israel for the different programs, no, where this cooperation is allowed under all the Erasmus. So, and in vet and higher education is very important because, for example, I can say, and I can't name them, but it's approved. It's where Turkey, for example, and Israel participate with other EU members, and it's in some industry. It's a very powerful the way it is, no, and it's through these networks they have connected, and they have this program. And it's so innovative. They won the highest prize, just points because of this innovation for the, and this was also thanks to the cooperation of the higher education scientists, because Turkey had also this, what they call TÜBİTAK, which is the center of scientific work, and vet schools. Let's face it, some years ago, you wouldn't see this strong cooperation between the vet providers and higher education and vet intensive relationship. So we can learn a lot, no, from what is going on and the boost Erasmus has given to this cooperation. But you can ask any question you want.
You do also evaluation of the projects? I mean, can you
No,
say they will?
no, as I said, as an institution, that's done all by commission, and it's we see, as I said, we see the final stage where we as ETF say all these proposals, no, that have passed the threshold. So we don't play with the assessment grade, no, of the project, but which project has passed. We look at how is it connected with the countries. No, because if it's a multi-country, for example, where you, and we look, since we have this in-depth analysis, this in-depth knowledges of the countries and of the stakeholders, we say, this, yes, is responding, no? This, no. And we have, I know it's maybe a stupid name, Torino process analysis or other thematic areas, no? Because we don't do only the assessment of the general system, we do of the sectors too. What are the skills required for the economy? What are the needs for the enhancement of the provision of the formal education system, non-formal, prior learning? So we look at all the skills agenda of the country and we say, this project fits very well with the priorities or the needs of the countries. No, there are two levels. Is the policy priorities that the countries, each country has their own policy agenda for the development of the skills, but we also look at it at the providers' needs, no? Because we know the countries also as providers. It's not just the papers, the policies. It's the policies being implemented at the that level, and then we say it is not responding, or it needs to include this other angle. So that's all. So we do more on the policy side and the impact that these projects can have on the agendas, skills agendas development in the countries.
So there's much to learn, as you see. There's a whole world of content here that is also open and available to higher education institutions and that are interested in vet and want to be active in the field of vet. So there's a lot to learn and see here and a lot of opportunities. And this is just a taste. This whole day is just a taste. And of course, I can assure you that it's almost like witchcraft. You send Lida a message, you get a response before you send the message. I don't know how it works, but that's how it works. So don't worry. She's still here. When are you leaving, by the way, Lida? When are you retiring?
End of February, and Jolene will take over, and she's the same like me, so she will
She's
respond
amazing.
immediately.
Jolene is amazing as well. But if you want to catch Lida, then you better hurry up before February. So, Eira, now the floor is yours.
Okay. I hope you can see it right, and now I will go to presentation mode. Okay. So hi, everybody. My name is Ira, and I'm an International Partnerships and Programs Manager at HIT. As Einav said, we submitted a project to Capacity Building VET, and the name is NURIC, so it's a Nursing Informatics competence for nursing students and professionals to foster digital transformation of healthcare. These slides just say a bit about the project. The motivation for the project came from the partners and the need for nurses or nursing staff to have more innovative curricula and provide them with more digital tools. Here are some. There's the impact of the project. So
yeah, will you be sharing this presentation?
Sorry?
Will you be sharing this presentation?
Oh, sure. Yes, of course. You can have my presentation, of course, with pleasure.
Thank you.
I thought I wasn't sharing the presentation, so I was a bit scared. So the idea is to improve their knowledge and technical skills, and who can bring it better than vet schools. And when we do that, so we meet actually the labor market, and it involves digitalization and answers all the criteria of the project. So here are the objectives. We need to provide courses, short courses to the nurses, and we need to make sure it actually works. So we need to have these partners, okay? We need to have the academia. So we have the coordinator of the project, which is Yumi Tirol from Austria. HIT is a participant in this project. We have a college from Kosovo, and then we need other providers to provide the vet part and the part on whom we're gonna implement it. So we have the nurses from Sheba Medical Center, which is also Israeli partner, and also nurses in Kosovo. And the organization who's gonna supervise it or to see if it really achieves the goals. So it's a Council of Nursing in Italy, and the UNC and the CREDEV, which is an organization from Greece. So as you can see, we have academia, we have organizations which are not academic organizations, and also actual nurses that are gonna get this knowledge, and we're gonna check if it actually works.
And Shiva qualifies as a vet provider, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Sheba has a research center. So why HIT actually a partner to this consortium? Because of the digital medical technologies, which is a new a very unique program at HIT, which is actually a pre-med, but we provide digital tools to medical staff, and then they can take this knowledge and go and study medicine afterwards. Okay, so our contribution to this project will be developing the nursing informatics curriculum and models, and actually to give them the courses which they could teach the nurses in Sheba Medical Center, but also in Kosovo. Before the thank you, I just really want to talk about the fact that it's very important to understand who are your partners, and maybe it will be a connection to what Lida and Yolen said before. It's very important to search for partners which will be good and that will consist with the objectives of the project. These partners that we have are not all of them are our partners, since we're not the coordinator of the project, but we have, I mean, that's the idea of the consortium, and I think that the EU now really promotes these alliances, which are very, very important, and it's important to look for them, what your institution, your organization can contribute to these alliances, and see which are the topics these alliances talk about, what your faculties can contribute to them. So we have our partners were Sheba Medical Center, of course, within the Faculty of Digital Medical Technologies, and UMI Tirol. They were our partners in research, but they needed a certain component of what we can offer, and then they added it to their project, and that's why it was successful. This is quite new project. I couldn't add the logo of the project because it started in December, and we cannot yet vote on the logo. So I hope later on you will see it more. But that's actually the idea. So I was supposed to talk about the partners. So please look into good partners that actually consist with what you can offer, and those who answer all the criterias of the project, because in VET projects you need partners that are from the labor market, partners that provide VET, and someone who can evaluate it also. Thank you.
I see.
Can I have a question to Ira, because it's very important, her experience, and I'm very happy that you have connected with your project. Hopefully you will get, I mean, you will, because it's also very important for Europe, as we know, for all over the world, especially after COVID and the situation of the medical sector, no? So it's a big demand. Can you dwell a little bit? How did you overcome? Because what we see, it's, you know, the vet sector, it's kind of considers itself inferior, even if it's changing in Europe, and especially all this partnership with Erasmus has given a boost. How do they overcome to have this dialogue to create the partnership? I don't know if I'm clear. So what tips you can give that you as a higher education, the partner as a higher education, can accept to work with them?
I think that what matters is quality and not quantity. The partners that we choose, it's not, we don't look for more partners just to have them on the list. We want them to really talk the same language as we do, and have the same, that they have same faculties as we do. We don't want them to be just partners. We want to have some important projects with them. So as I said before, UMI Tirol are partners within the research, and they are partners within the research of digital medical technologies. So this was the idea of the collaboration between us. We did not join the project because we have a great faculty of design or a very fine faculty of sciences or engineering, which are also very, very good and fine faculties at HIT. But the subject that we were supposed to, relate to was a specific one. And since there was a match between us in this subject, so we could collaborate. We could contribute in the way. So you will also see it in the presentation afterwards, our specific contribution to this project. And in VET project, so they divided to work packages. So each partner needs to contribute something. And if you cannot contribute to this project, so there is no justification to your existence in this project. So we have, we're leading a work package of building these courses for the nurses because of the knowledge and because of what we do. And that I hope it answered your question.
Thank you so much, Ira. We're going to move on to our next session, which is a partner search session. And I would like to invite, I'm apologizing ahead of time if I pronounce some of the names wrong, Ramune from the Kaunas. Thank you. From the Kaunas Science and Technology Park in Lithuania.
Yes.
And I'd just like to remind that Lithuania is a program country in Erasmus Plus. So the stage is yours.
Thank you. I will share my screen, hopefully. Can you see my slides? No.
Try maybe sharing first and moving it to presentation mode and then sharing.
Okay,
maybe.
okay, I will try that. Let me stop sharing. Oh, because when I do it in the presentation mode, then I can't share. Okay, so that will do this way. It's no problem. I'm not sure. How do you see it?
We see it. We just see you know, the slides on the side and the
Yeah. So sorry for that. It will be because that way faster.
It's okay. We can see it. We don't need it to be fancy.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I represent Kaunas Science and Technology Park, which is in Kaunas, Lithuania. And last year we rebranded ourselves to Tech Park Kaunas. So I might be mixing those two titles during my presentation. So I'm a expert in our science park, and I have been working here for more than 15 years. So firstly, some basic information about my country, Lithuania, and my city, Kaunas. Lithuania being a relatively small country with a little bit less than 3 million residents is very active in creating startups. We even have 3 so-called unicorns, Vinted, Net, and Baltic Classified Group. Kaunas is the second largest city in Lithuania, and it is seen as academic and student city, as we have a lot of universities operating in Kaunas. And the areas where we are strong is IT, IoT, and medtech. Okay. So a little bit about us. Tech Park Kaunas was established in 1998, initially as a business incubator. And then within a few years, in 2006, we were reorganized to a science park. And in 2015, by combining 2 science parks and the innovation center, we became the science park that we are now today. And in our premises, we host the largest innovation community in Lithuania. Currently, Science Park is our science, one of 7 science and technology parks operating in Lithuania. We are located in the very heart of the country. And as a member of Integrated Science Studies and Business Center Valley Santaka, Kaunas Science and Technology Park stimulates science and business collaboration. And in addition, the park is involved in the technology transfer processes at Kaunas University of Technology and Vytautas Magnus University, as they are both our shareholders. Okay. At our science park, we have companies that have just started the business and the companies that are operating for some time. And at present, we have more than 100 companies which are operating in the fields of IT, engineering, health technologies, social innovation, future energy, sustainable chemistry, and many more. When coming to our science park, companies get different services. They get infrastructure, room and internet, also incubation and acceleration programs, access to laboratories, opportunities to participate in various networking events. And one of our biggest goals is to encourage relations between companies, especially those who live in our science park. Because we believe that the greatest results come from cooperation. So we try to encourage that in different events that we organize. The thing that we are, the thing that we are most proud of is an 8-step incubation program for startups. And it begins with a short screening interview where companies pitch their ideas. Successful candidates are paired with a personal facilitator. The program includes monthly networking events and a 1-week bootcamp for startups. The next step is the key component of our program is a 2-month pre-acceleration program, which is called Evolute 4.0. And it is a program where companies are taught the sales development, and after the ending of the program is pitching ideas for the investors. And our incubation program ends with awards. We have annual startup awards of CONUS, where our startups usually get nominated and also awarded. So as I said, the key component of our services is an entrepreneurship and new development program called Evolute 4.0, which we launched in 2018. And in the same year, it was recognized as the Solution of the Year for Business by the YASP Association. And the program is designed for early stage startups to develop an innovative product, increase sales, and prepare for investment phase. This pre-acceleration program services were already successfully exported to Serbia, Kosovo, and Africa. And now about our projects more. During the operation years of Tech Park CONUS, a big part of activities has always been the implementation of national and international projects. We have experience in various programs, so we have a lot of reliable partners across Europe and Lithuania. And our partners include other science and technology parks, universities, vet institutions, research centers. And the programs that we implement projects are Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe, COSME, Erasmus+, Interreg BSR, and Interreg Europe, also 8 Health. And the main topics of our projects are urban tech, green tech, entrepreneurship, digitalization, distance work, equality, medtech, circular economy, sustainability, tourism. And the topics that we believe we are strong and search partners for are mainly the same: entrepreneurship, sustainability, circular economy, equality, women entrepreneurship, digitalization. So basically that's our self-introduction in short, and I hope you find us interesting, and we will hope for future collaboration with some of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next presenter is Ahmed from the Universum International College in Kosovo.
Hello, everyone. Does everyone see my screen? So my name is Armen Berisha. I am head of the international projects at the UNI Universum International College. Our institution was known only as Universum College, but since this year we rebranded ourselves due to a strategic partnership that we have established with Arizona State University. We are based in Kosovo. Some facts about our country, Kosovo. Kosovo is a young country, it's declared its independence in 2008. It's a country of 1.8 million people. The average age of our population is 27 years old, so we have a quite young population with lots of youngsters. Our main languages, we speak Albanian, but there are also Turkish and Serbian communities in Kosovo. And then among the young people in Kosovo and the professionals, most of them, they all speak English. The capital city is Pristina, and then the currency that we use is euro. Universum was founded as an institution based around business and management, innovation, and entrepreneurship. It was such the need in Kosovo when the Universum was established 20 years ago, because there was very limited job opportunities, whereas we were established to graduate more entrepreneurs. Things are changing for the better. Now also Universum is adapting to new changes, and now Universum is more a comprehensive university. These are the strategic pillars of Universum: student and learning at the center, continuous quality improvement, of course, innovation and entrepreneurship, digital transformation, and the most important facet of our strategic mission is internationalization. We are very proactive and very dynamic in internationalization in international endeavors. So we are actively seeking partners and partnerships with whom we collaborate for either mobility or development projects. As I mentioned earlier, Universum, since March of this year, Universum has established a partnership with Arizona State University. So now we are kind of Arizona State University branch in Kosovo. Students and faculty members at Universum have access to everything that students and faculty members have access to at Arizona State University. So now we are now kind of an American higher education institution in Kosovo. These are the study programs that currently we are providing at Universum, starting from business and management to graphic design and fashion design. We also have a wide array of study programs for health-based programs as well. We have the professional programs on level 3 and 4 and 5, and meaning that most of these programs are 2-year vocational programs. These are the current programs that we have on our master level: master in management, in data science, diplomacy, and sustainable food production. Starting from next year, we are going to add more programs on master level and on bachelor level as well. These are some of the research projects that we implement at Universum. We are quite dynamic in terms of research project, although we are more an University of Applied Sciences and less in research-intensive university. We do employment barometer and business outlook. These are yearly research that we conduct at Universum. And then we do lots of activities around entrepreneurship. We are one of the first institutions that we have established a business development hub at Universum, so our students can work on their startups. And we did a series of events and programs around promoting entrepreneurship in Kosovo. In terms of internationalization, I mentioned earlier, we are very proactive. We have 220 university partners in Europe with whom we exchange student and staff via the Erasmus Plus Key Action 1. We have exchanged around 1,300 participant students, and mostly these are outgoing. And then we have established also 4 double-degree programs with partners from Germany, from Finland, from Lithuania, and from the UK. Currently, we are implementing numerous projects in capacity building in higher education. We have implemented capacity building with partners from Israel, with HIT and Hadassah. It was a project item. It was a project around math. Currently, we are started implementing the project Nurik, just like the Eva from HIT told you about earlier. And then we are implementing many projects in strategic partnership, in virtual exchanges, Jean Monnet, Visegrad, etc. These are the projects that we will start implementing this year. Kutur, we are going to be coordinator of the program, is capacity building in higher education. The program developed around fashion design. It's about, basically, it's about reinventing and preserving cultural heritage for the textile industry. We are implementing a project around artificial intelligence in teaching and learning. For physiotherapy, a project about developing modules for climate change. It is a project, and then the Nurik project. These are some of the other projects that we are implementing at Universum currently. And then we are actively also working into adopting the SDG goals into our curriculum. Since 3 years, we have introduced the SDG as a course that has been implemented around all the study programs, but all the indicators and the objectives of the SDGs were also included into our curriculum, with the idea of making our curriculum as relevant as possible to the societal needs and societal changes. Thank you very much for your attention. Please visit our website, universum-ks.org. And then we have a very dynamic and very strong team at the International Projects Office. We're eager to collaborate for new ideas, new projects. Please know that we also have capacities at our office also to write. So we're not just partners who join partnerships, but we are also partners who contribute to the writing of the project proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to move on to Itai Bauman, who will introduce himself from Future Holders and Oil Farm Seminar. And I will request that the next speakers stick to 5 minutes, just so we can also break for lunch.
I was reversing for 5 minutes, so I'm going to do it in time. Hi, thank you for the chance to talk with you and to present 2 organizations. The first organization, I'm the innovation consultant. My name is Itai, I'm from Israel. I'm an entrepreneur and innovation consultant. The first organization that I want to talk about is Oil Avraham. It's a very unique place in the Bnei Brak in Israel. We are training ultra-Orthodox women. It's the largest training center for ultra-Orthodox women in Israel. We train them to join the high-tech industry in Israel. And we are now building a huge innovation ring. It's included a high technology room with VR and AR technology that will train them to use them. And we are going to do AI training programs and implementation of all kinds of skills in these women. And we are seeking the academic or professional training institution in Israel or in Europe that will join us. And together we can really develop the best methodology to help marginalized women and other population to join the high-tech company and to learn technology in a way that will fit their culture and their way of life, and they will be able to join them to improve their social economical status and We are new in this field of Erasmus, and we are very open to any suggestion and any collaboration in Europe and Israel. And we are focused, all of them is focused on how to train, to develop skills and ability, and to help ultra-Orthodox women to join high-tech companies in Israel. And we are on it with full gas. This is the first presentation. So if you can please, okay. The second organization that I'm going to talk about is I'm one of its founder. It's a non-profit organization. We call it Future Holders. We are on an early stage. We were initiated 1 year ago, and we are. Our goal is to increase the number of females, women, that will choose to be technological leaders in the field of planet tech and green tech. We work now with youth, because we believe that the barriers that stand in front of the women that hold them back from being the leaders in the field of green tech and take responsibility for the future of the world, because we believe that women have a very, very significant role in taking care of our world, making it better, making it greener. So we try to deal with this barrier in early age of these women. So we are now working with the Arab and Jewish teenage girls. We teach them how to develop, how to design systems by AI technology. We teach them a lot about the climate change, and we are meeting together in high-tech companies like Google, like Amdocs, like Microsoft, and we are together we create all kinds of pilots, of technological pilots, and the girls and they identify challenges that connected or problems that connected to the climate change in the cities, in the Arab cities, in the Jewish cities, and they develop technological solution that really can work, and they try to do an experiment, and then they show it to the very high level women in the high-tech industry of Israel. So we're actually looking for partners. We are looking for organizations like us, organizations that I think that we are. One of our agenda, one of our dreams is to create an online community of girls, teenage girls or females that will connect together and work together in order to really take care of the future of our world. So I believe that in the virtual exchange route, we might find very attractive partners. And of course, we are also connected to VET training, because we train these girls to be very, very active, to be entrepreneur, to learn how to use AI technology. So please, Inbar and Dina, please share these slides. And we are very open to collaboration for our first time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll have Michal Morgenstern-Laor from the Haifa University. Michal, are you here? I know you're here.
Yes, we're here.
Wonderful.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just sharing the presentation.
Thank you.
Can you see the presentation?
Can you see our presentation? Yes.
So hi everyone, good afternoon from Haifa, Israel. My name is Michal Gottlieb. I work in the marketing department alongside Michal Morgenstern-Laor, the head of the international school
at the University of Haifa. So we would like just to present a little bit our university and the programs that we are offering, and how we are collaborating today with Erasmus, and we hope for future collaborations that we can engage in the near year or several years.
So some really interesting facts about academia in Israel, life in Haifa. We have been around the academia for the past 47 years. We've been welcoming about 1,000 students each year with a global community. Our students are part of the University of Haifa, meeting Israeli students with different backgrounds, with different culture, with different language. We always love to say that if you didn't think that, maybe it's kind of ironic today, but coexistence can exist. So Haifa is literally the place of coexisting and of living peaceful life for the most part. For global representation, we have students from over 19 different countries. It's a very dynamic campus in the way that it's not only students coming from the US or from Europe. We have many students coming from East Asia, and we have students also coming from Australia. So during our programs in the semesters, in the academic year, the students are meeting different parts of Israel, but also different parts of the world. So they're becoming kind of a global citizen. And also our program are very diverse. We like our students to engage in different subjects, mainly humanities and social sciences, but we're always open, and because we're located in Haifa and we have a high-tech hub, it's a great opportunity for our students to be engaged in the different high-tech industry in the city. So main programs that we offer are study abroad or gap year or gap semester. We have language programs in Hebrew, in Arabic. We have master's program. We have volunteering projects, many volunteering projects and internships, as I mentioned, mainly in the high-tech industry. So for study abroad, our main topics, as you can see in the list, and as I mentioned earlier, it's in the social sciences and humanities, also different language, also different cultures. We also have some econ course and poli-sci courses, philosophy and peace and Middle Eastern studies, of course, and maritime civilizations. This coming summer, we're actually launching a new 3 very dynamic course. The first course, it's in anti-Semitic through the ages, literally from the Middle Ages, even today, how hatred is being evolved. This course is going also to be with academic tools in Israel. So some material students are going to study in classes with a professor, with one of our faculty members, and some classes they're physically going to see in their own eyes. Another course we are launching this coming summer, it's in emergency and disaster management. It's a course to talk about how Israeli can cope with different security issues, with different catastrophes, with different disasters from very different arenas. And a third course is Home Sweet Home, Design and Motion Workshop. It's for the students of today, the TikTok generation, the generation that all the time upload different videos and different motion videos. So it's a course that teaches them how to use the different materials and the different places they can post everything. And for different programs that we offer, we have intensive courses this coming winter in Hebrew. In the summer, we offer Hebrew and Arabic, and in the semester, we always offer Hebrew and Arabic. This semester, we will be teaching hybrid courses, so students can choose if they want to come study in person at the University of Haifa or online.
Our university also offers 20 master degree programs. Most of them are one-year programs, unless the students wants to write a thesis, and then the program is for 2 years. And we are always looking for a collaboration among this program on creating dual degrees or short degrees. So this is something that we would very much like to collaborate on. The same as in the study abroad, because this is the character of our university. most of the programs are in the humanity faculty, but we also have MBA programs and programs, very good ones in the marine geoscience division in our university. So this is something that we want to emphasize.
It's also unique to the University of Haifa because we are located on a mountain and we are located next to the beach. So it's two places where these subjects can be learned and can be learned very well. And this is why we're very good at ecosystem for the students.
So as I said, ways of expanding our collaboration with Erasmus is building joint degrees or dual degrees in one of our master programs, and of course expanding our inter-international agreements so we can create more mobility opportunities to students and staff members. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michal and Michal. And finally, I'm happy to introduce Alicia Levy from the Open University in Israel. And
hello, everyone.
Like to
can you
share
hear
something
me?
Have it open, so just say.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I will be brief because I have only 5 minutes. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, here we are. So only a few words about the Open University of Israel. We are one of the Israeli public universities. We are the largest by a number of students. And as the name suggests, the mission is to make higher education accessible and open to all individuals, regardless socio-economic background, regardless geographic origin. And our teaching model is mainly hybrid. We offer around 700 online courses, and most of our students study online. And but we also have 36 study centers scattered all over the country. And I think what's very peculiar about our university is that this flexibility that we give attracts very unique student population. In fact, most of our students are individuals who work full-time and support families, and we are very capable to integrate specific populations like minorities. We have a lot of Israeli Arab students, and we give them the specific support, language support they need, but all other kinds of support, and ultra-Orthodox Jewish individuals, both males and females. As I said, residents of the Israel's geographic and socioeconomic periphery. In general, I think that our main capability is the advanced learning technologies in teaching that we develop and we offer. And today I wanted to talk a specific project that we are developing in the field of capacity building VET. And it's a project that we are developing with the Sharansky Seminary for Girls. I think I saw among the participants Malka Yaakov, who is the representative of the seminary. And the seminary, Sharansky, is one of the main players in the vocational education for Jewish ultra-Orthodox girls and women. For those of you who are not from Israel and are maybe not familiar with the ultra-Orthodox word, usually seminaries are the only pathway for high school graduate girls to pursue technical vocational education. This is a VET provider, sorry, I didn't mention that. So the main challenges that these seminaries are facing is that they fail to integrate innovative technologies in their curricula, and unfortunately, the other difficulties, such as pretty standardized and limited fields of studies that they offer, prevent their graduates to really break through the job market. We are talking about a population that is often marginalized and is situated on the lower side of the Israeli socioeconomic ladder, but who has a very great potential in terms of, work ethics. They're very, hard study girls, and we just want the main objective of the project is to improve the quality of education in the seminary Sharansky. And how we will do it? The solution, we want to develop a new curriculum, and we want to integrate academic courses that we will provide, the Open University will provide, staff training, and in cooperation with the private sector, also tutoring program. So what we're actually looking for now is a coordinator for this project. So it must be a European partner. We would prefer someone who is active in that and with proven track record in coordinating and executing this kind of projects. I think this project has a very high potential impact because there are about 30 more seminaries like this in Israel, and we can learn, we can improve, we can develop this new curricula and share the outcomes of this project and teach others. So that's it for the moment, but in general, as the Open University, we are very interested in all kinds of cooperations, but in this specific occasion, I wanted to share this project proposal that we have. So if you want to connect, you will receive my contact information later from Inbara and Inav. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you to all our speakers. We're going to take a lunch break and reconvene at 12:30, maybe even 12:35, to give people some time to eat if they need, if they want. And we'll return with the afternoon sessions will focus on higher education, but they will also mainly have a partner search opportunity from Bavaria and a kind of panel on regional challenges. So I do recommend that even if you are from vocational education, if that interests you, you can still join us, and we'll be happy to see you at 12:35. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Michal? Open you? No, it's Haifa. Can I ask you a question? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. How does it work when someone comes from the States to Haifa University? Do they pay? Is it like normal Erasmus when they actually pay the college and the university pays them?
No, usually with the US, we work with study abroad agreements. They pay tuition fees to the University of Haifa. Or they pay in their home university and their home university pays us. It's not.
And do they get like a stamp price or something? Like, do they have to bring like extra money here for living?
Yes,
or?
of course. Of course. They are paying for everything, for the semester, for the accommodations, and of course for anything that they need for their daily life.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We'll start soon. Thank you for being here with us. And now we're opening our afternoon session. So we'll have higher education updates from Inbar, our project manager at the NEO, and afterwards a partner search opportunity with Bayfor, and following that a session on the challenges of regional cooperation with Israeli case studies. It's supposed to be very interesting. So without further ado, Inbar, I give you the stage. I just want to add also that all of the contact details of the people that presented and their presentations, we'll share all of this with you. So make sure if you got this link somehow, maybe you haven't registered, I'm going to share again the registration link, and that way you can get all the materials from this day. So Inbar, are you with us?
Yes, hi, I'm just going to share my screen. All right. So in this section, I'm going to give you a few updates from the 2024 program guide that relates specifically to higher education. Feel free to stop me if you need any clarifications. So I'm going to start with horizontal dimensions, and I've mentioned these at the beginning of the day in her presentation. But what is important here is to know that these are kind of dimensions that projects should relate to. These are relevant to all the different actions. And specifically in CBHE and capacity building for higher education, we have also overarching priorities. You can see here the names of the priorities, and I also put on the right the different names of the regions. What is important here is that the priorities are very wide. So even if you have something that is relevant to the Green Deal, say green campuses, and it's not specifically defined in the program guide, it could still be relevant. You of course have to give the rationale and everything. And when you're doing cross-regional projects, you also have to make sure that the overarching priorities that you are focusing on are relevant for both or more of all of the regions that are part of this of the project that you're building. And even more specifically, every region has regional priorities, overarching regional priorities. All of this can be found on the Funding and Tenders portal, the top. And at the bottom of this, I won't go through everything because they're kind of long. They're just kind of more specific than the overarching priorities. And you can see an example on top at the bottom of, there's a link at the bottom of this slide, which we will of course send you so you can really go into it. And now, so we talked about horizontal dimensions, overarching priorities, specifically regional priorities. And there is also something else. Each project has to choose one overarching priority and one sub-priority.
We still see, okay, great.
So these are the sub-priorities. Some of them are also kind of similar. So you see here the Green Deal, the digital age, inclusion is very strong in these priorities. And so, as I said, one overarching priority and one sub-priority for each project. And also here, we will send you the slides with the link where you can really read about all of these. These are connected directly to policies of the European Commission. So there's really a web page for each of them, and it's detailed very thoroughly. So I'm going to go over some updates that we've also had in the current program, the 2021 to 2027 program guide, updates that relate to capacity building. We've mentioned these in the past, but still they're important changes, so we wanted to repeat them. So subcontracting in the current program is allowed at a maximum of 10%. Equipment is at a maximum of 35% of the total grant and is only available for higher education institutions in the non-associated third countries. So Israel, of course, and if you have another country from one of those. And a big change that there was in this program that also Einab mentioned previously is lump sum 2. So some of you may remember from previous projects that there was very careful monitoring of all of the receipts and, you know, a lot of going into detail and that stuff. So here there are also no longer budget tables. So in the past, there used to be tables of how much staff costs could be and stuff like that. There aren't any tables. You can refer to the previous program to see kind of a ballpark of what the cost should be, but you're a little bit freer. And of course, these have to be realistic costs always. They've changed to continuous reporting. So that actually means that you have kind of a mid-report and a final report where you give an overview. You also, of course, have to stick to your deliverables, but it's a lot easier to kind of to do the reporting. And I wrote here no receipts. Doesn't mean you should throw out all the receipts, but they're a lot less gonna go into that and into those details with you. And finally, a new update from this year is cross-regional projects have a dedicated budget that is 9 million euros, and that funds approximately 12 projects, and that is a separate budget. So if you have a regional project, you have a completely different budget envelope that is 8 million, and that funds approximately 14 projects. These are, of course, estimates because each project is funded in a different amount. So with the thematic breakdown of the results from 2022, you can see here according to the overarching priorities. So we can see that digital transformation and sustainable growth in jobs have very high amounts. There are a lot of projects that touch on these themes. And you can see that governance, peace, security, and migration and mobility are a little bit not as focused. They have less projects that are focused on those topics. So there's two ways you could look at this. You could also say like, there's a lot of projects that are funded in digital transformation. So maybe that's a topic you want to touch on, but it also might be more less competitive in a certain way to apply to the Green Deal because less projects are applying on that in that priority. And specifically in Israel, you can also see here, these are kind of the buzzwords that are used in Israeli projects. So you can see that digitalization is a very strong priority that's present in Israeli projects. Innovation, of course, all projects should be innovative. And you can kind of go over this and see what are the parts that are more common. So this is kind of just an overview to give you an idea of what's going on. And now I want to go over to ICM, so International Credit Mobility, a little bit of data from the past, also the past call. So first of all, it's important to note that the budget allocation target per country is a maximum of 15%. So this means that the national agencies in the program countries, the member states and associated countries have a guideline to award up to 15% per country in the region. You can see here in the middle pie chart that Israel has 23% of the budget for the region. So this is not something that they stick to strictly, but more or less this is what they're aiming for. And also on the left, you can see that Israel is really the highest amount of mobility in the region. And another important thing to note in the new program is that the target audience that they're aiming for, again, is they want to see 35% of all mobilities dedicated to staff. The other 65% should be dedicated to students. And of that, they want to see at least 50% of the students to be with fewer opportunities. This is a target that we're more or less, complying with, but that should be a focus when you advertise and promote these the mobility opportunities with Erasmus in your institutions. Another, so this is discussing mainly Key Action 171. So just kind of to clarify, Key Action 171 is dedicated to the third countries not associated, and all the budgets are for these countries. And there is also Key Action 131. So This is a mobility project that is supported by internal European funds. So it's dedicated primarily to intra-European mobility, but it does have a section dedicated to international collaboration. So under that section, the projects that are set up in Key Action 131 can allocate a maximum of 20% of their grant to international cooperation. And it's important to note that this should cover several international partners. That means that if a institution that you want to cooperate with, their guidelines are to not give 20% to one country, to one partner. And it's also important to note that a lot of these funds are also dedicated to European countries that are not in the European Union and are not also third countries, are not associated. So that would be primarily the United Kingdom and Switzerland. Also in the new program, it's important to say that Israel and the United Kingdom received a special allowance to send students from bachelor level. So other partners can only, other non-associated partners can only send higher levels of graduate students. And finally, it's really important. There's a lot of Key Action 131 is different than what we're used to. The funding is completely different. A lot of times, two institutions are collaborating, but not necessarily the sending institution sometimes has to pay for the students or staff that are traveling. And that's why it's really important, and we've seen this in the past, to have the student or the staff member who's traveling sign the travel agreement before traveling, just so you can make sure to iron out all the details to make sure who's going to fund this and not get into a situation where something happened where you discover afterwards that they don't have funding for your student or anything like that. So first of all, we recommend check your interinstitutional agreement to make sure that it's compatible with either Key Action 131 or Key Action 171. And make sure that, and note that Israeli mobility to the European Union is not covered by this action. So even if they, in your interinstitutional agreement, you can send students or staff through Key Action 131, make sure to figure out where the funding will come from ahead of time, because it won't necessarily come from your European counterpart. A couple more updates that we'll give you for the new program. There are multiple formats for mobility. There's, of course, the physical mobility that we've been running for years now. There's a blended option, which includes a minimum stay of up to a month in the country and the other country, and the rest of it can be hybrid or just virtual. There's also an option for traineeships. These can also be kind of together with they can be together with a study period and a traineeship period. They can be independent from studying. And there's also the option for complete virtual exchange. I put this in parentheses here because it's actually not under Key Action 1 grants. It's under a different Key Action, but in practice, that's also an option where you can use, and we'll have Elena speaking soon exactly about that. Eligible participants, all students from all degrees can go on mobility until and including doctoral students, and students can go on traineeships up to a year after degree completion. Finally, a couple other stuff that I want you to, that's important to pay attention to is, of course, all the mobility, the Erasmus Plus mobility grants are based on interinstitutional agreements that should be signed beforehand. There is a special budget for inclusion support in real costs. So if you have a student that needs help, it could be for a physical need, or for, more social or some sort of studying impediment. So that could go for that. And finally, there is organizational support. And here it's a little side note, but the organizational support goes automatically to the institution, the European institution partner. And there you can negotiate with them. This would be in your agreement with them, not as part of the Erasmus agreement necessarily, but you can negotiate a certain amount of the organizational support to go specifically to Israel. So that's something that maybe you'd like to discuss with your partners when you're building a proposal. Next thing I want to talk about, another action of Erasmus Plus for higher education, is the Erasmus Mundus joint master's degrees. So these are joint or multiple degrees that are awarded open to promote excellence and include scholarship to excellent students. The difference between a joint and a multiple degree is kind of more of a regulatory thing. So in Israel, the Council for Higher Education does not allow joint degrees. So what you actually do is you just give a degree from the Israeli institution and a degree from the partner institutions. These degrees, Israel can be a coordinator in these degrees, and these should be jointly designed. So it shouldn't be one institution that takes the majority of the work over, but it should be really kind of something that's integrated, and the students also have to study in 3 different countries. So that could be, one of those countries can be Israel, which is a new thing. In the past, Israel could only be the 4th country, and then it kind of complicated things. But they have to study a semester in 3 different countries. Finally, there is a physical mobility, which is compulsory for all enrolled students. That's what I mentioned in the 3 different countries. And I also want to show you some data that you can see here. So all the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's degree allows for also non-scholarship holder students. So you can apply for 40 to 60 scholarships, and you can also offer from 0 to 50 non-scholarship students. And as you can see in green, it is the current program. In yellowish orange is the previous program. And the more non-scholarship holders positions you offer, the more you are compensated. So the more a larger grant you can get. So that's kind of an incentive to open it up also to non-scholarship holders, to make it kind of a worldwide, a more encompassing action. Another higher education action that also I now mentioned is the Higher Education Reform Expert Forum that we run. Its national focus for the next 2 years is SDG and employability. And you can see here the pictures and the names of our experts for this year. Most importantly, I want to invite you to save the dates for 2 conferences that we will be holding. These are called TAMs, Technical Assistant Missions, that our experts will be taking part in building and in presenting. And we will also be inviting European experts to speak on these subjects. So the first one will be on the 17th of March, a conference on building and maintaining green campuses. And the second one will be in April. The date will be scheduled soon, a conference on promoting graduate employability. We will have more conferences on these topics, also one on quality assurance in education colleges, teacher training colleges. So stay tuned, and we will of course advertise it. And if you have, if you'd like to take part, you're also welcome to turn to us. We'd be happy to collaborate on that. Finally, I want to present some partner search tools. So like I now showed also in the field of vet, we also have some more general ones. So there's our Israeli partner search database, where international institutions or organizations that are interested in collaborating with Israeli partners can fill out their information. And this is open to all Israeli stakeholders. You can look through that. They can put in information specifically on what actions they're interested or what themes they're interested. ASEA also has a partner search platform where you can search for partners. And this is kind of new on the funding and tenders portal. In each action at the bottom, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the specific action, you can see also people who are offering partnerships or looking for partners. You can also post yourself, as long as you have a user and your organization is registered. You can also check on the project results platform that Einav mentioned, where you can see the information on what institutions take part in what actions on what fields and contact them. National agencies are actually the equivalent of us, the National Erasmus Plus office in Israel, and they have a lot of information on partners and maybe can connect you also to networks. And two other networks that we added here are the Euro Guidance Network and EPALE, where you can just find a lot of organizations and institutions that are relevant to higher education. So if you want to read more about this, we'll of course send you the recording and the presentations, but there are also the EASES events. So here I put 2 links to Erasmus Mundus and to capacity building. Also, I forgot to mention this, but last year we had a very good session on Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters and its and the Erasmus Mundus design measures, which is building up to a joint masters. So we put the link in and we recommend that you watch it. The European Commission has a kind of wiki page where you can find a lot of guides for to really at the most specific level of how to apply screenshots of how the portal looks and where you put what. So that's very useful. And you can, of course, look at Israeli projects who have been funded, kind of see what the themes they touch on, if they have any specifics or information or results that can help you. So thank you so much for your attention. I will stop sharing now. And Einav, would you like to take the...
Yeah, thank you, Inval. That was very insightful, informative, and clear. Without further ado, I would like to present, to give the stage to Dr. Anna Abelman-Brockman, Scientific Coordinator at Scientific Coordination Office Bavaria for BAFOR, in short. And this is the Bavarian Research Alliance to present her organization and possible collaboration opportunities.
Thank you very much for the introduction. My apology for the very long name. So thank you very much to Einav and Invar for inviting me and for giving me this platform. I first start or try sharing my screen. Try to do so in presenter mode. Okay. Do you see it in presenter mode right now?
Yes, we see it.
Fantastic. Okay. Okay, what I would like to do is I would like to introduce the Scientific Coordination Office Bavaria Israel, which is my responsibility, and the Bavarian Research Alliance as a whole to you, as they both, I think, are quite nice tools if it comes to the question of partner search in Bavaria in the south of Germany. And I would like to show you how we work, what we can offer, what our experience is, and basically our background. So as the name already says, we are located in Bavaria, which is one of the southern states in Germany. You might know us for the Oktoberfest, but besides that, we also have 11 universities here and 20 universities of applied sciences. So altogether, I think it's a quite lively and quite strong R&D network which Bavaria has to offer. And I think our research institutions also cover a very broad range of different topics and expertise. What you don't see on the map are other research institutions which you find here, like the Fraunhofer Institute, which has several institutes in Bavaria, Helmholtz and Max Planck and so on. So what is our role here? The Bavarian Research Alliance, or short BAFOR, was founded in 2006, 2007, with a strong focus on national and international research funding. So since 2006, 2007, we work with the different European projects, Horizon Europe, but also Prima, for example, and of course Erasmus Plus, which offers a lot of cooperation opportunities. But you all know that already. Our headquarters is located in Munich. We have a small office in Nuremberg, and we have a liaison office in Brussels, where we have 2 colleagues sitting close to the Commission. And that is, I think, specific about us. We are funded by the Bavarian State Ministry of Science and the Arts, and the Bavarian State Chancellery, and in smaller parts by the Bavarian universities and universities of applied science. So in that sense, we are public funded non-profit organization, which means that our service is free of charge as long as there is somewhere a Bavarian player in the consortium. Here you have an overview about our key figures, our funding, our partners, our locations, and also to explain our mission a bit clearer. Our core mission or core job description is that we are supposed to that we support local stakeholders in applying for national and international research funding. Beside all the known programs, this could also be bilateral programs. Specifically, if it comes to Israel, there are the DFG and the BNBF collaborations, and then there are like plenty of other programs you're working with. And how does this work look like in practice? We understand ourselves as a full server provider, and that means we have 5 areas which we try to cover. First, it's information, which means that we provide general information about upcoming call, upcoming research trends. For example, when the Green Deal was launched, that was one of the topics we promoted. We do workshops about how to write a successful proposal, how to do project management, how to do dissemination and communication, all of those fields. Then we act as an advisory service. That means if there's a researcher who has a kind of research idea and is not so sure how to fund it, he or she is welcome to contact us, and then we try to figure out what's the best funding instrument. So is the person looking for some scholarship or some networking funding or for some larger research funding? And then we sit down and try to find the ideal topic for that person. Then we have the application support service, and that means if there's someone who says, okay, I have the perfect funding instrument for myself and I would like to submit a proposal, no matter if it's Horizon Europe, if it's Erasmus Plus, or if it's some DFG grant or something, and then we can support the application process. That can look quite we are quite flexible here. It depends a bit on what the team actually needs from us or wants from us. So we can provide specific information material. We have parts of text if it comes to things like gender equality plan, data management plan, which we can provide. We can help to find additional partners in Bavaria, in Germany, but also in other countries, usually like the networks we used to work with in the past. And we can help with the writing process, which means we don't write the proposal, but we can we do proofreading in a quite extensive way, and where we try to take the position of an evaluator and check, okay, does the proposal cover the expected outcome? Does it cover the scope? Are the objectives understandable? Is it actually addressing the needs of the call, or maybe something totally different? And do we understand the idea? Because, and I think that's what you all know, the main issue for reviewers is that they have a very short amount of time and no one is reading a proposal twice. And then we also can help with administrative and budget related questions. So we can check if the budget is okay, we can check if the implementation section are understandable in a specific order and things like that. We also support the implementation process. So if a project is funded, that's what I learned this year, it's still quite a way to go until the signature of the grant agreement. And also this is something we can support. And this is just maybe not so relevant here, but in some cases we even can join a project as project management. We have our own unit for project management. And if the coordinator of a project is a local one, then we can take the role as a project management and just join a consortium as a general partner. And this, as I already said, is a free of charge service under one minimum condition. And this is that there should be a Bavarian partner somewhere in the consortium, and we are very happy to help you to find one. Here you have an overview over the different units at BIFOR. We are altogether 50 employees, so this is just some of my colleagues. We have 4 units for EU funding advisory service, covering the field of health, research and biotechnology, ICT, engineering and natural sciences, socioeconomic science, humanities and security studies, and environment and energy and bioeconomy. And then we have several further units, our office in Brussels, we have an SME advisory service, which works specifically with those Eureka, Global Star, ESC calls, and we have 3 scientific coordination offices, which all don't have a specific, don't focus on a specific topic, but on a specific country or region. And here I would like to introduce a bit further the Scientific Coordination Office for Israel to you. What is the Scientific Coordination Office for Israel actually doing? I'm a historian, so I have a short historical wrap-up. The office was founded in 2018, about half a year after the establishment of the Office for, and that's the official title actually, the Office for Economy, Science, Technology, Education and Youth Exchange of Bavaria in Israel. That's located in Tel Aviv. And I guess you're quite welcome to come by and say hello to the colleagues there. And from this long title, the field of science, that's basically the aspect the Scientific Coordination Office is dealing with, and that's me. The overall goal of the office is to strengthen the scientific relation between Bavarian and Israeli stakeholders. And this is done by focusing on 4 pillars. First of all, an information service on the ecosystem from Bavaria and Israel. We do network activities, and, for example, by doing workshops, matchmaking events, and if possible, also delegation visits. I very much hope that that is something we can actually do next year again. We provide scientific and administrative support for bilateral or multilateral R&D projects, where also Erasmus Plus is, of course, part of it. And we have some small funding activities, like a mobility program. And this year we had, for the first time, a scholarship program for young researchers. The Scientific Coordination Office is on social media, on X, formerly known as Twitter. So you can follow me there. It's called WKS Bayern Israel. WKS is the German abbreviation for Scientific Coordination Office. So it's not that international, but maybe you can find us anyway there. Just some further information. How do or what kind of information and networkings do we have usually during the year? I think we can split that in like 3 different areas. We established in 2020 an online expert round, where we try to reach a broader audience, not just really experts from a specific field, but a broader audience, which is interested in certain topics, which also can include municipalities, NGOs, whosoever. There we promoted, for example, the EU Green Deal. We had an event on smart, climate neutral and smart cities. This October, we had an event planned on the field of food tech, which we unfortunately had to cancel, of course, after the tragic events of October 7. We have twice a year a bilateral workshop, which we do together with ESERT, who you all know, I guess. I think ESERT works pretty similar like videos, so it works perfectly to cooperate with them. These are matchmaking events where we take certain topics from Horizon Europe and try to match our the researchers from our network there and help them to actually draft a joint proposal. And if everything works out fine, submit that for the next deadline. And this happened once, so I think we already can talk about a tradition. We have a joint roundtable, which actually is a non-public expert meeting. We had that once, also during the Corona pandemic, on hydrogen, where we invited a few experts from both sides to discuss the current status and potential joint interest, which could be taken to the next step in the sense of scientific cooperation. Here you have some impressions from our activities during the last years. You see we had some delegation visits to Bavaria, to Israel. We had the classic events during Corona online. Below there is an event at the Tel Aviv University. So we try to be active. So that was an overview over our work, our activities. I'm coming back to the map I showed you on the first slide. Again, the map with all the local universities and universities of applied science. I'm sure some of you are already in touch with some of those players. And if you're looking for a partner, if you're looking for specific expertise, I would be more than happy to help you to establish some contacts here if you're looking for some. By doing so, you are welcome to get in touch. And in that sense, I'm saying thank you for your attention. And let's see where we can take it from here.
Thank you so much, Anna. That was very, very insightful, and I'm sure that a lot of collaboration will come after this presentation, and we will be in touch with you also for more initiatives. Are there any questions for Anna? We have a few minutes. If anyone wants to ask anything about Bay4. Okay, so I guess it was very clear. But thank you so much, and we're very happy that you signed up, and then we immediately asked you to present because this is very, very relevant, and we see that through Erasmus there is so much collaboration with Germany, and we always want to build on that and to expand it and to make it more quality, both quality and quantity. So this would be great, even looking forward. Oh, I'm sorry. What happened was that there was in Tel Aviv area, there was actually there was how do you say it, a siren to go into safe spaces. So that's why many of the participants maybe weren't really connected in the last 7 minutes. That's too bad. That's very unfortunate, because I was sure you'll be bombarded, sorry for the expression, with questions. But we will share this recording, and you will share your contacts if you agree, of course, and we'll make up for this also. So thank you for letting me know, people that wrote to me privately, because here in Jerusalem we just continued everything as usual. So now we're going to move on to so maybe, Anna, I don't know if people made it back yet or not, but if you want just in a minute or two to just say again, present your organization one more time, and then later on they can just see the presentation on the recording.
Of course, I can try in a few sentences.
Sorry.
I'm very sorry. I know it's a very unusual time. So
yes,
whatever. Maybe maybe the easiest way to explain the Bavarian Research Alliance is we work very similar to ESERT at the Israel Innovation Authority. We are like a state-funded advisory service for basically any kind of national and international research program, research funding program, and we support local stakeholders in applying for international research funding. And as the state of Bavaria, which is part of not part, which is one of the southern German states, as the state of Bavaria has a contact office in Tel Aviv since 2017. We also established the desk I'm working for, which is the Scientific Coordination Office Bavaria Israel, which focuses specifically on the scientific collaboration. So my job is to give chances, platforms, network activities, which makes it easier for players from both sides to get into any kind of collaboration for bilateral projects or for any other projects. And Erasmus Plus is, I think, it's a wonderful project, especially for getting started, because I think you showed that previous or earlier today that in some parts the funding rates are quite nice, I would say. Which much better than for many of the Horizon Europe calls. And if you start a collaboration with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 partners, and you have a funding instrument where you have a good and realistic chance to get funded, I think that's always a very good start for collaboration. And you can see that later on also in my presentation, which I'm gonna send you, of course, what I can, like, what me and my colleagues are happy to do is actually to connect you to relevant players. So if you say, I'm looking for an expert in the field of agriculture and winery, then we can try to find someone and keep our fingers crossed that it works out. So.
That's also useful for us as an office, but of course for all the people here. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll stay in touch. And now we're going to start our last and final session on the challenges of regional cooperation and Israeli case studies. So we have with us from the Impact Project, which is a virtual exchange project, Dr. Elena Mizrahi, head of the Virtual Exchange Center, and from the Volcanic Project, which is a capacity building project, Dr. Reuma de Groot, Director of EU Project Departments at the Mofet Institute. So I think how we'll start this. Yes, so I think what would be best if each of you present your projects briefly, and then we'll have this kind of discussion on, and please try to focus on, you know, the regional aspects and how you manage to find and create your projects, and then we'll open it to a discussion with everybody here that is interested in creating regional projects as well. I do apologize that I will be stepping out 10 minutes before the session ends, but Inbal will be here to continue the facilitation. So, Elena, do you want to begin?
Yes, I can begin. Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to proudly present the Impact Project, the first virtual exchange, Erasmus virtual exchange project that has been selected for funding. This year, we applied last year. I am the head of the Virtual Exchange Center, and I also I'm affiliated with the Western Galilee College, which was one of the colleges that is part of the consortium from Israel. So I will tell you briefly about, if you're interested about the project content, really briefly, I just shared a link to the project website, so you can have a really brief look. 1 second, it just disappeared. So first of all, you see that even the domain name EVE stands for Erasmus Virtual Exchange, and Impact stands for Inter-Mediterranean Peace and Collaboration. You know, big words, really huge meaning these days. Technically, this was one of the projects in the Erasmus program call, which required the eligibility criteria even for application was regional collaboration. And I have been involved in virtual exchanges for over 5 years, I think, and I've worked with many different countries beyond Europe, within Europe. So on a personal level, many of my colleagues, many of the institutions actually have connections and even run some different size projects, even maybe very small projects or even secret projects, but things are going on between our neighboring countries like Egypt, Jordan. So, like, I do have personal connections there as well, and there have been multiple attempts from many of the institutions that I work with who reported that they approached and they had some initial vibe and negotiations going on, but when it comes to submitting a project to Erasmus, there were certain obstacles, political obstacles, diplomatic whatnot. Now, since the Abraham Accords were, you know, successfully signed with Morocco 3 years ago, we initially we started looking for partners, and this first application was successful. I can show you briefly our consortium. So when you go to partners, you can see that the leading institution, the coordinator institution, comes from Greece, Hellenic Mediterranean University. And we have a university from Italy, Uno. We have Slovenian partner, University of Maribor. And then we have a very big chunk of Israeli partners. We have Western Galilee College, responsible for dissemination. So I'm happy to disseminate here our project already a little bit. Gordon College of Education from Haifa, Holon Institute of Technology, HIT, Ira, you see, I got your spot. I can speak about one of your projects here as well. My organization comes later on, Virtual Exchange Center. We are associated partners in this project. And by the way, there are other organizations from, so basically if you're interested in writing a proposal for virtual exchanges, it's good to know that it's not only for higher education institutions. The call is open for NGOs, for private organizations, private companies, public companies, youth organizations. So in addition to higher education institutions, we have first of all, several partners from Morocco, which are universities. So we have a university from Ukraine. We have a University Mohammed Polytechnic. I think they also have some kind of project, not Erasmus, but project going on with the Technion. Tamkin Foundation is not a university, but they are actively involved in many different projects in Israel. Now, Web2Learn is a Greek private company. And we have our inter-university center, Meital. Maybe some of you know them. They work with the network of Israeli universities and institutions in supporting technology and e-learning. In terms of youth organizations, by the way, now from this year, youth capacity building for youth is also requiring regional collaboration. So we are lucky to have, first of all, our partner from the north of Israel with the diversity in terms of culture and minorities and different languages, different religions represented from Akko. And we have connected with several Moroccan youth organizations that are actively, open to work on new applications. So if anyone needs any contacts, reach out to me. We have to really, really be careful and cherish these relationships, these partnerships. These are new initiatives, very, very new. It was not easy to find these people. Sometimes you need to reach out through LinkedIn. Sometimes you need to just contact the National Erasmus office and ask for help. And they did help a lot. I talk about searching for Moroccan organizations. They would support us too. We have one more university from Morocco, University Mohammed Premier. And then what I also wanted to mention, if anyone wants to join our vibrant community of institutions in Morocco, in Israel, and in Europe, you are all welcome to reach out and join us as associated partners, because we do want to reach a lot of students, a lot of institutions, a lot of academics interested in virtual exchanges. We are providing professional development, training opportunities for staff. Of course, everything is under impact. So you would have a peek into how the project is run, what are the stages, and either contribute or benefit. It's totally up to you. We already have Adas Academic College who joined us as associated partners. So we still have the project started, so I can just also jump briefly in the structure. So we started in July 2023, and we are going to run the Inter-Mediterranean Peace and Collaboration virtual exchanges until June 2026. These are the institutions. So in terms of the time frame, we are now in 6 months have passed. So we are in preparation, development. We're going to pilot the program. And of course, we're doing a lot of dissemination, exploitation. So like someone asked about deliverables earlier. So the deliverables, again, could be COIL courses. COIL stands for Collaborative Online International Learning Experiences for students, like virtual exchanges, training, academic training. So I'm going to share one more time, because here on our website, you can also see the examples of different activities, online activities that we are providing, like here. So you just go to training and activities, and in online activities, you can see things that we started to invite people to join, to register. So this is essentially already a very international experience, a virtual exchange experience online, where we either do some kind of workshops, working on projects. Actually, the next stage is going to be creating new COIL modules for next year between Morocco, Israel, and European Union countries. So there is a lot of work. It's very challenging. It's very interesting. And we are already working on new applications for virtual exchanges. My virtual exchange center is a VET organization as well, providing vocational education and training for professional development for staff, academic staff, administrative staff. And we have also an opportunity for capacity building for youth. This is not a topic of this info day, but if you're interested, we have a youth organization in Morocco. And, you know, we could find interesting opportunities to connect and see how we overcome the regional challenges together. So I was brief, I hope.
Thank you, Elena. That was so inspiring, really. And if I was one of the institutions listening, I would email you immediately, really.
Okay.
Roma, are you here with us? I saw your name.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yes. So the floor
Hi,
is yours.
Nav. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this very inspiring info day, Nav. I could join only partially, but it was whatever I listened to was very inspiring for me. So thank you so much for organizing it, and thank everyone that joined this. Well, after your presentation, Elena, there isn't much I can say about the the collaboration with Morocco. Maybe can I share the screen now?
Yes, of course. You have.
So I share it very briefly to tell about the volcanic project, which hasn't been started yet. So this is the first slide of the volcanic. I hope I can enlarge it, that it will work here. Do you see it big enough so I can just leave it like this?
We see it, yes.
Okay, so
here, and we will see it in the presentation mode. You have this little presenter.
I know, but I have some problem here in my place for the presentation mode, but I can still give it a try. Some reason I cannot reach that. 1 minute. Anyway, it should be very brief because the project hasn't started yet, but we already have our logo, the volcanic project, and as you can see, it is a capacity building project, and it aims to create innovative technological pedagogy in higher education. I guess you all know about what capacity building project is. As you can see, it will start only in 1st of February and will end in January 2027. I must say that the EU was very generous with us with everything to make this happen, because we had to do all the paperwork was done during the war. And now if you look at our partners in this project, it has just been copied from the EU platform. So we are at the moment coordinated by University of Lisbon. Previously, we were supposed to be coordinated by Sapir College, but because of the war and everything that they have faced, so our colleagues from Lisbon agreed to take the lead, which really was very helpful. From Israel, we have K College and Mufet, which I represent here. From the Moroccan side, we have the Tamkin Foundation that was also presented before within the Impact Project, which are a very, very vivid, let's say, and I would say even progressive foundation for education, and they are very, very active for making collaboration between Morocco and Israel. I know they have been visiting the Galilee College, etc., and they are very much involved. And I must say here, they are not listening to me, that I think many of the Moroccan successful collaboration types are sourced in these persons that actually manage this foundation. So it's really something very, very interesting and also very touching in our days. We also have the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic, the one that you have also mentioned, and another HEI, which I don't think you have mentioned, which is called Ipsincia, which is a private college, but still is considered as a higher education place in Morocco, which also joined us. We have Sapir College, and then we have another two European partners. Now, what are the objectives of this project? I don't expect you to read all of it, but I think one of the reasons why we could actually make it happen, and if we speak about regional cooperation, is because we could find some things that align what is happening in Israel and in Morocco, and that means for the target population. Because if we speak about train HES teacher, the capacity to design learning activities based on the pedagogy, how to use innovative pedagogy for computation and thinking, but it is targeting special population that can be found both in Israel and in Morocco. In Israel, we will concentrate on the Bedouin population, and in Morocco, we are focusing on scattered population in a remote geographical places. So we could align in the proposal some things that are related to this. And one of the things which I just mentioned here, which I think is something good and maybe also innovative, is the way that higher education institutions should accommodate these students that come from far and give them special conditions to study in their premises. So these are what we call the learning space, the design of the learning spaces within the HEIs. We expect this impact to come up. Of course, we deal with raising awareness for the importance of what we are doing. There is also the issue that we focus on is they involve different stakeholders, and in relation, in the context of this day that you have organized, personally, and I think everyone that is in here shares the idea that it is highly important to make relations between enterprises and the education. I mean, there is a lot to be done, and I heard this lady, very impressive foundation from Germany, what you are doing in these regards. There is a need for that, no doubt. And I think also in our project, we have succeeded to involve different, let's say, stakeholders. At the moment, belong to the Ministry of Education, but we will involve others too once the project will start and continue. And of course, coming to, let's say, offer some special tools for this special population, which from our perspective, need a special treatment within higher education institutions. So what are the challenges in relation to the regional cooperation or partnership? I would say, I mean, also I think Elena mentioned it in her presentation. It is that sometimes it's not so easy. It's not so easy to understand each other. We have to be very patient. Things takes time. Things take time. And we have to choose, and we have certainly to respect everyone, ourselves and our partners. And then maybe we can move. And I'm sorry I cannot share with you more because the project would start only in 1st of February, although we already having some meeting together, and we already prepared things for the project. So this was all. I hope I was short enough.
You were wonderful, and it was very interesting. And thank you so much for the presentation. And really, it's a great pleasure to see the fruits of all your efforts and also the wonderful goals that your projects have, because we are always discussing the applications and the bureaucracy and things like that. But then to actually see the fruit of your doing or your goals and the impact that you foresee, it's something that we don't touch upon much on our side. So it's fun for us also to see that input. And not just, with other things, bureaucratic things, less important things. So I think I want to leave time for people to ask questions, because I'm sure that there's much that wasn't said. Does anyone have any questions for Reuma or for Elena?
I would like to ask, actually, it's I don't know if it's specifically to Reuma and Elena, although it was very inspiring. It's also for you as well. Just as for me as a newcomer and beginner in all this process, and I'm not sure exactly how to even describe my place in this in this environment, but would you suggest, because it was a lot of information, and I agree that it was great, but I feel that I'm overwhelmed with all that information. So if you give, from your experience, give like 2 or 3 suggestion tips where to start as a beginner, right? As someone who doesn't know and who is, again, overwhelmed by all the abbreviations, names, KAs, etc., and all that. What would you suggest someone to start?
I can give you a tip. First, have an idea for collaboration. Start from yourself. You or the team, I don't know in which institution you work with.
Ono Academic College, I'm not sure even if we are a partner with a registered agent.
You're registered, yeah, you're registered.
We are, okay.
Which college are you? I didn't get that.
Ono Academic College,
I'm from
Academic
Ono.
Ono.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to have an idea first. What would you like to do, you or some of your colleagues in the institution? And then from there, you can spread and get some information. In my views, I mean, this is my experience. If it is not contextualized with something that you want to do and you think it is important, you just drown there and you don't know, you don't find yourself. So start with an idea, maybe 1 or 2, and see how it works.
Yeah, I really agree with Reuma. I also, on my personal, the impact was the project that was my first try, and it was successful. So like virtual exchanges has always been my personal passion. So I just went into this field. So having your niching down, like identifying your interest is one important tip, but then also offering something that is broad enough within the niche is also important. So for example, in Impact, we provide training in soft skills, in employability skills, in digital literacy, something that everyone needs, basically, like all the students across all the faculties, all the institutions, all the countries in the world, academics as well, and even administrative staff can benefit from this training. So the topic is so hot, so interesting, and there are so many developments. And again, you are welcome to join us as an associated partner and see what's going on inside the project and learn from an ongoing project. And I totally hear you about the Erasmus language, which is a different type of English. You have to learn it. It takes time, but then once you acquire it, it's much easier.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the nav is very helpful, I must say.
I try. I don't, it's not always possible, but we try to do our best.
Yeah. It's quite a complicated job.
Any more questions for Elena and Reuma?
If nobody pops in, maybe I would just say something about the regional collaboration. I think Elena also presented it, but I would like also to share it from our own experience that last year We tried to come up with a cooperation with Morocco because of this person, Abdillah Kadili, who is the founder of this foundation. He's a very impressive person in these days, especially. But we didn't, I mean, we had a proposal, we had ideas, and we waited until almost 2 weeks before submission. But at the end of the day, we couldn't get any signatures from the Moroccan institution, so we didn't submit. I'm talking about last year. This year, we started very early. I mean, for me at least, this was, also something that I really, really wanted to reach for regional cooperation, because I think this is one of the added values of this kind of collaboration, these kinds of projects. So my tip on that, be patient. You need a lot of patience. You need really, many times you are disappointed, but sometimes it succeeds. You get success. Of course, we are a bit in a problem because we are in the Mediterranean region, and all the others are, I mean, many of the partners cannot even allow themselves to sign with us. Even if they want, they are afraid from their own premises. So you need courageous people from the other side, and you need to support it. You also need to support it. Even if it takes 2 months, you say, okay, I wait. Sometime it works out. Sometime it works out. So that's my tip. I was very surprised that the project was accepted, but I got a clear statement from the EU that the only reason it was, not the only, but one of the main reasons that it was accepted, it is because we have succeeded first time in the region to make a capacity building collaboration project. And I really appreciated that. Yeah.
I can add to this that I went over, I can send you the document in the email summary, but I went over the socioeconomic, like the priorities, that an official document with priorities for the European Union in our region, and not just in Israel, in the region. And one of the first things that was written under one of the sections was to promote more collaboration between Israel and its neighboring states. So not just neighboring, but the states in the area. So to kind of bring more legitimacy and collaboration to Israel within the region. And I think that's a mission that starts not necessarily, it could naturally start in other arenas that we're less familiar with and less familiar to, such as higher education and youth, and these kind of exchanges of knowledge. That can be something that could, at least the EU sees it very seriously and is very responsive to these kind of initiatives. So even if it's a slight chance, if you're dedicated to it, then you have at least the backing of the program. Of course, it needs to be a relevant and good project, but still, as Roma said, it is part of the priority, the consortium in itself.
Yeah.
So I think we can conclude. And it's great, I think, and I appreciate you all that we can even have this kind of discussion at a time like this, because we can do what we can do on our side and in our jobs to help our country and to help the situation. And I appreciate all of you and all of your hard work. And those of you that have been here from the morning, kudos. It wasn't easy, I'm sure. We barely had a break, but we'll send all of you all of the presentations and all of the links and all of the contacts that we've had here today. And I wish you all a lot of luck in your future applications. And it's really, we really enjoy seeing all of you year after year, and also the newcomers. And I want to especially thank my colleague Inbar Sher for the production of this day and for the presentations and everything that she has contributed a lot to. And Inbal, do you want to add anything?
No, just of course, thank you to you, Einav, who you've gotten so many compliments over during the day that I don't think I can add anything, but still important to say.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here today, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you very much.